sports with all their might. Cole takes big balls and never get it right. Thinks he knows it all too well. Zach's got stats you can't dispel. Jake just laughs, you can never tell. Three voices in a podcast shell. Talking sports from end to end. They won't quit, they won't bend.
A little bit of punk rock there to start off with the episode number 15. What do you think of that?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty good. I like the theme song.
We are live in the air and everywhere for the Three Morons podcast. You can see I am back. Mr. Google's behind the camera. We have
Jake
and Zach.
We have would have been your indication.
Come on, Jake. Come on. This isn't your first episode, man. You're always, you don't start or you don't end, so you know you're the next one.
All right,
There's
enough.
3 of us.
All right,
It's not 20.
Fair enough.
All right.
But usually, you guys tell me, okay, you're next, and I'm like, okay.
Well, yeah, usually it's a different open, like we're live and blah blah blah. He kind of went a little different route because he is back. Welcome back.
Thanks.
We all rejoice. Last week, Mr. Google did do a good spot. So if you did not see that episode, go back and check it out. You learn a little bit more about Mr. Google.
Be my tag team champion partner right there. Like
the tagged in and out.
Yep.
The tag team.
We're coming for the Motor City Machine Guns. That's what we're gonna do.
There you go.
Right.
TNA grades about to be WWE grades, right?
Exactly.
So the first topic I want to get into today, we agreed to it, of course. The NHL, right? Because this is basically the first full week. My team is I think 3-0-1. Right now, because they're playing right now, so they haven't. The game's not over.
Toronto.
They're playing Toronto. They're up 1-0. Looking good. The one game they lost, they allowed 6 goals but scored 5, so they could score. We know that much. It's just Shesterkin wants $11 million, and he played like crap.
Yep.
But yeah, so the Rangers are doing good. Kind of expect them to do what they do. They're doing good scoring. I mean, they played Detroit last game on Wednesday, and they
feisty club to start the year.
Or was it? It was Thursday. My bad. It was Thursday. And they scored quick. Panarin scored 3 goals. It was great. They can score fast. I know they were talking before the game on Hockey Night or one of the TNT games, or maybe it was the NHL radio. Who's going to win the Stanley Cup? Who's good predictions? Who scores fast? Well, the Rangers have shown they can score fast and they can stop because they got one of the best goals.
Right.
Tampa Bay's doing pretty good.
Yep. First loss was actually first regulation loss was today to Ottawa, but 3-1
9 points, right?
Yeah,
9 points. That's how they score the NHL. It doesn't matter your record; it matters by the points.
Yep.
So overtime loss, you get a point.
Yep.
You win the game outright before it goes to overtime, which is funny. It shouldn't even be overtime loss. It should just be overtime. Period. Because if it goes to overtime or shootout, both teams get a point. It's not like you get 2 if you win that, and then 1 if you lose that. You just split the 2 points.
And then if it goes to a shootout, then 2 points for the win in the shootout, 1 point if you lose the shootout. I mean, you go to extra regulation, NHL's giving you that point because, hey, you went the distance with this team.
Right.
So, and Blackhawks are improving.
Yeah, they improved from going 0-1-1. They're now 2-2-1, which is a lot better than what they started. I think they're trying to figure things out with Bedard and the new guy they drafted, so they're all trying to create chemistry and build stuff around.
So, yeah, this is just a drop in the bucket of a long season for all these teams.
Bedard's second year, so he's very young.
Yep.
What, 18?
18, 19, I believe.
19. And you got the other guy who's also very young. So you got nothing but the limit for them until, money starts taking the play.
Yeah.
But yeah, so with the NHL.
19.
Jason Hartwell's on. He says, I've been waiting all day for you guys. Go Bolts.
Yes.
Boo.
And he says, I'm very impressed with the lighting so
far. Oh, good.
Yeah, with Lightning. So,
Lightning, yeah.
Obviously, if people don't know, Steven Stamkos no longer with the Lightning.
Went to Nashville.
He went to Nashville, which are 0-5, by the way.
Yeah.
Great move.
Yeah.
Money.
Still a drop in the bucket of a long season. We both know that. We all know that.
Yeah.
We'll poke fun at them until they start winning. But
like the
good
Do
goaltending to start the season for Tampa Bay. See if they can sustain the success. I'm going to say this not just to rile you up. If it's not the Rangers, it could be Tampa Bay because they still got some of the core players left from them Stanley Cup.
Not going to rile me up. That's my teams, okay? They just disappoint in the playoffs, Brewers.
But I'm saying it. Lightning are not on the Rangers level yet because of a lot of the turnover in personnel. But I would say New York is a favorite in the East right now. There's a lot of good young teams in the East that could really come up. I mentioned Detroit, out in the West,
Count
Chicago.
out Panthers. And
Yeah,
the East.
Panthers are still
Boston
up there.
always plays
Boston.
well.
Yeah.
And Tampa Bay always plays well. They got
Yeah.
good coaching and everything like
Mhm.
that. See, hockey is always, to me, one of those things. Yeah, it's about skill, right?
Yeah.
You gotta have skill, but it's also luck. Like
Yeah.
during that Red Wings Rangers, that could have been easily different than, I think it was 5-2. Could have easily been different because there's been a couple times where it hit the post and bounced out.
Yep.
Right. It went right through the goalie. Quick was the goalie that night, not Shesterkin. Went right through him. Didn't see the puck. He only reacted because he heard it click off the poles and then bounced out. So that's just all about the luck, right? It's
Right.
not just about skill. I think it's like 20% skill, 80% luck where the puck goes.
Right.
And I've always made the argument. I was watching you guys last week. I almost typed in that with hockey, it's more of a complete team sport because you have 4 lines of 3 different guys,
Yep.
3 defensive lines with 2 guys. So it takes pretty much the whole team to win a game.
Mhm,
And if you don't have the depth, you ain't going far.
right.
Right. And that's and that's going to lead into what I kind of want to talk about with contracts, right? Because you talk about one of the best groups in NFL, quarterbacks, they get paid.
Yeah.
Pitchers, they get really good money and terms, years, right? Goalies would be your quarterbacks and your pitchers because you need people to stop scoring, right?
Yeah.
But they don't get the pay
No.
like the other sport because they kind of like, okay, your best paying person might get 16 million. Goalies get like 10 million. You don't get the highest pay. You don't get the lowest, but you don't get the highest because you got to spread that around the whole team more.
Yeah.
Right.
Remember, defense doesn't bring good people in seats. Offense does.
Right. Offense always does, but hockey's always been defense because it's the guy's the size of the net. So it's still kind of hard to score. And he's got all the pads and everything. And in fact, the Detroit guy lost his stick.
Also-
the goalie lost his stick. It was still could stop because he could block. Plus, you got other people in front of him helping block for that
Also-
team. So it's not just the goalie. You got 2-3 people crowding the net.
This is my opinion. It also takes like a different kind of person to be a goalie because I don't think I can stand there and then have a puck fly at me and going how many miles an hour. I don't think I can do that.
See, I can't do it because in baseball, I was picking dandelions when the ball wasn't coming to me. So I played like the goalie for the Mighty Ducks that one time. I'm bored. And all of a sudden they come at me. I'm like, oh, shoot, now I got to get ready. That would be me.
Yep.
So
I'm like
it,
over there, looking over there, waving at everybody, and then the puck's going to go right by me.
Right.
it just takes a different kind of person.
Jason says, I guess they said Nashville didn't know what to do with Stamkos on their line. And they said they could definitely bring him back to Tampa.
Yeah,
they
definitely.
could.
Take him back. They could take him in New York. Would
I mean, he could go many places.
He can go to
Yeah.
Chicago.
Chicago, see?
Someone will figure it out. And
he got his first goal as a Predator today.
they'll
for
figure it
Nashville.
out, too. I mean,
Yeah,
it takes a
people will
while.
figure it out.
Like I said, long 82 game schedule. You start off kind of slow. Edmonton started off slow last year. Look what they did. One went away from the cup. So
And they were down 3-0 in the cup.
yes. So it's resiliency. It's a lot of heart. It's a lot of good team play, like I was saying. and
Which
good goaltending.
which
and
down being down 3-0 in the cup and then coming back also proves my
Also-
point and Ben Maller's point. There's no such thing as momentum in sports.
It's the season's a marathon, not a sprint. It's all about
Yeah.
how you
Exactly.
finish.
But I
Exactly.
just
You're
like
gonna.
how we go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say what you said, how it starts and how it finishes, right? You're gonna have bad
Yeah,
weeks.
you're
You're
gonna
gonna
have
have
bad
a bad
stretches.
stretch. No one's gonna go through 82, especially hockey, right?
Yeah.
You don't see it too much in basketball. You do every once in a while, but we're 72-10. You don't really have a
No.
bad
Right.
spell unless you had those 10 games where you're bad
It's
spell.
just how you like take those bad stretches and turn them into good
Right.
games.
That's why when for baseball and hockey at least, right? And only because hockey 82 games, luck, right? Baseball 162. That's why when we're talking about COVID year, we talk to basketball. It's a Mickey Mouse ring because the Lakers have proved, hey, I'm injured, I'm this, 4 months healthy, boom, they're healthy going straight in. So isn't everyone else, but you have 100% healthy LeBron and Anthony Davis, they're going to win and dominate, and they did.
Yeah.
Baseball, on the other hand, we're talking about bad streaks and everything. You have 60 games.
Mhm.
You can't have a bad month.
No.
182 games or 162 games, you can have a bad month. In a regular COVID year, you couldn't have a bad month.
No.
Right.
You had to be great the whole 60 games.
Point I wanted to bring up on that bad month was Cleveland was like way miles ahead of even the Yankees at one point. they had their bad month, which allowed Kansas City, Detroit,
Even Minnesota,
Kansas City to get into the playoff race because they had that bad stretch back in the summer, which allowed some of these teams to kind of move up on them. And now they're chasing home field from the Yankees because they had that bad month.
or your season's a bad month and your team boos you when you win because you didn't get the record for the worst, the most losses.
We're just
White
never
Sox.
going to give the White Sox any more credit.
Hey.
If they win the World Series next year, we're going to eat our words.
But let's go back to the NHL real quick with the contracts, right?
Right.
And I brought it up the goalies and everything, and I want your guys' opinion. So Jake Ottinger, a good goalie for Dallas, re-signed $66 million total for 8 years. I don't know what it is off the top of my head, but it's about like 10 something, right? 9 to 10 something.
Mm-hmm.
So do you think? No, it's not 10 something. It's definitely like 8 to 9 something.
8 to 9, yeah.
8 to 9.
66.
66 million divided by 8. 8.25 million. And he's a good goalie.
Good. You're
Shesterkin turned down.
Shout out to math teachers, by the way.
Shesterkin
Shout out to my calculator.
turned down Igor Shesterkin, one of the best goalies. Won the best goalie award in 2022.
Shesterkin.
He turned down $11 million a year for 8 years, which is $88 million.
Right.
Highest paid goalie. Would have been the highest paid goalie. Turned it down. Doesn't want it. He is not going to talk about contracts for the rest of the season because he's all about focusing, right?
Yeah.
Do you think he's going to get that $12 million possibly and kind of rework how goalies are looked? Or do you think he's going to have to, because he's an unrestricted free agent at the end of the season, or do you think he's going to have to walk at the end of the season and the Rangers are going to lose him? Now, here's the thing. If I'm the Rangers, I'm trying to get him signed immediately. He's gone and Jonathan Quick's gone. Now, Jonathan Quick's also like 38 years old, but you don't have a goalie signed next year.
Mm-mm.
Do you think he's going to get that?
Do
Do you think he's going to get the $12 million with the Rangers? Some other team could give him $12 million because it's proven he's not going to go to another team for $11 million. If he's not taking it with the Rangers, he's not taking it with anybody else.
Right. He's going to go higher. He's betting on
Yeah.
himself.
Right.
And
And that first game of the season, by the way, won 6-0. The Rangers, so he stopped everything. But then he goes and plays Utah and allows like 6 goals. I don't know if I didn't watch the full
I
game
didn't watch it, but
because I think it was on NHL Network or we were on the radio. Actually, it was last Saturday. So or on the radio on YouTube. We're on the podcast, so we didn't watch it. So I don't know if he got pulled. But the thing is, he allowed at least 3 goals to get pulled, 3 or 4 goals.
Right.
So do you think he's going to get that contract with the Rangers? I think the Rangers give it to him and have to figure out scoring at the end and everything else at the end. You know, okay, who are we going to have to lose? Are we going to have to lose Mika Zibanejad? Or are we going to have to lose Panarin or Fox or someone eventually? Which you can't lose Panarin. He's one of the best Rangers. In fact, he just did something no other Rangers have done. He's in his first 4 games, he scored multiple points.
Right.
It hasn't been done.
You go first or me?
So I think depending how the year goes, I think he might get it, but it also depends on who he does on the year. That's also what the team's contemplating into the contract.
Yeah.
I don't think it depends on what he does. I think the Rangers want him. They just got to figure out everything else.
Yeah.
Because you also need scoring. You can't just have goal. You got to have scoring.
Right.
So if you're going to lose your top scorers, is it worth just go get a free agent goalie and hopefully he does good?
Right.
Well, I'm hoping that they do bring him back for their sake, but I also think that maybe he's gonna see how he does for this season. You know, if they get to the playoffs, I'm not saying they win the President's Trophy, but they get to the playoffs. Do they go past the Eastern Conference Final? And if they don't, is he going to be the reason why they get there or why they don't get to the Stanley Cup?
Yeah, and he wasn't really the reason why they lost against the Panthers.
Right.
The Panthers forechecked and everything. They played very aggressive, something that I don't think they did in the regular season as much, but they realized this is how we're going to beat the Rangers is be more aggressive than them because the Rangers hit. The Rangers get their hits with Trouba, with Trocheck, with Rempe. They get their hits. They get out there aggressive, and then they can score. So they went, we're going to forecheck you better, and we're going to be aggressive.
And that's how they ended up winning the Cup, ultimately. I think more than anything is that maybe it's just, you're good, dude.
I think you're saying that to me because he got my keys.
Maybe. I think I think he's focused on the season. I don't think he's focused on the money right now. Because if he was focused on it, then he would have signed the contract,
or still be dealing with
the contract. I think he wants to focus on his play, want to focus on the season. We'll get to this in the offseason.
And that's one thing I can say great about hockey players. Not dissing NFL players. I'm not dissing baseball, not dissing basketball. They don't sit out.
No.
They're focused on the thing. Hey, we didn't get it done. Let's focus on the season. Let's focus on winning. Let's not focus on my money right now.
And most of the time they get back to where they were and they're like, okay,
now
where we at?
Teams have offered them maybe sometimes when they say we're not talking about it and they go, okay, fine, I'll sign it because I like it. But we're not going to have contract talks the whole season. We're going to focus on the season.
Yeah, we're about getting W's and we're trying to bring the cup to New York. That's what he's trying to do.
Since 93?
94.
94, and that's probably 93 is the last time a Canadian team won. That's right. And that's probably the last time a President's Trophy has won is around that time too.
Oh, it's ridiculous how many times a team has won the President's Trophy
and not one,
but more often than
not make the Stanley Cup.
Not make the Stanley Cup, get bounced in the first round.
Yeah,
Boston,
Tampa Bay did it. Washington,
I think New York's probably one of the ones that went the farthest recently because they went to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah, I remember it was like a couple of years ago that Boston had the best record in the regular season.
They got bounced in the first round
and got bounced.
They got swept, didn't they? Or they only gentleman sweep, right?
I
think they won one game, maybe.
Might have been Panthers when they're Panthers. Yeah, it had to be the Panthers because they were the 8th seed coming out of the East when they lost to Vegas a couple years ago.
And they beat them.
Yep.
And just bounced them out right out of the playoffs. I thought that was funny.
So you guys got anything else to talk about?
Well, that's the only team in the NHL I don't like is Boston Bruins. Sorry.
Any other comments about hockey? I mean, one biggest surprise for me is Utah Hockey Club.
Oh yeah,
because it's not an expansion team. It's not really an expansion team. So they didn't get a draft. They didn't get to pick the Kraken. We didn't get to pick this or the Vegas Golden Knights. We didn't get to pick these players. We didn't get to pick these players. No. We took Arizona, put them in Utah, and now they can play.
Yeah, it's amazing, huh?
I guess they just weren't playing to get moved. I mean,
right. It's just thing is there were the Arizona Coyotes, which last year were one of the worst teams in the NHL
for the last few years, not just the last year,
but the last few years, and now this year, holy crap!
You know why? Because in the offseason they can skate on the lake or on the oceans in Utah. They can't do that in Arizona. It's too hot. I don't know. That's the only way it makes sense.
I don't know why it makes sense. Let's switch cities, and now we're doing good. Why does that make sense? I don't know.
I'm gonna bring it up because we're gonna bring it up later. Just like the Cowboys for their birthday, they told Jerry Jones we're off.
Ooh, dang.
They said we're saving you money on airfare, so we're staying home.
Right. Well,
literally,
they were already home. They just didn't go to the stadium.
Didn't go. And they got a bye week.
What they didn't tell you is they just got clones that look like them but no talent.
All right.
They were the aliens who forgot to take the talent, but they took the looks. The Monstars, right?
The Monstars, yeah.
So let's segue. Speaking of Monstars, since we have nothing else about hockey, we can segue to the NBA.
Yes.
So the season starts in 3 days.
Yep. And we're gonna make NBA Finals predictions. Or did you want to talk about any? We kind of covered all the news.
Klay Thompson's now with the Mavericks.
Yep.
He looked mid-season form the other day. 22 minutes, 0 for 9.
I thought that was funny.
Working out the kinks, man. Working out the kinks.
Bronny James is doing good doing okay, right? I haven't heard anything bad.
No,
don't mention it, Jake. Please don't mention it.
No, his final game, he had 17 points and a couple of assists.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's not the starters and stuff like that, but he's showing growth. That's all that matters.
And then I do like with some of these like hockey, baseball. You don't see it in the NFL, and I don't like it. They work out their bugs in the preseason. They actually play. They not play the whole game, but they're actually playing for a quarter, 2 quarters, giving the fans a little bit of their money's worth.
Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. And I like it. I mean, you're not going to base anything off of it just by what you see. They're just out there going through the motions, which is fine. And we'll see what happens with Bronny. I mean, he looked okay. I mean, he looked better than he did in the summer league.
Right, exactly. That's what I'm saying. He's just, he probably played with his dad over in between the summer league and this and got a little bit more pointers. So we'll see how that goes. Other than that, I mean, I think we could just jump into predictions if you want.
That's fine.
So I got the Knicks in the finals, and then I'm going to go for the West Coast team. I'm going to go with a little bit of a sleeper, only because I think that it's going to shock people. I'm picking this team.
Okay.
I'm picking the Lakers.
Okay.
The only reason is I think LeBron
Okay.
can keep Anthony Davis healthy, and they for some reason Bronny Jr. jumps in. But there's no big teams in the. Well, actually, no. That was my sleeper. No, Sacramento's gonna win it.
Make up your mind, woman. You
wanna
just get
see
your
what you guys
eviction
thought.
notice.
I was bitching about the Lakers and everything.
You good there, buddy?
No, but I do like Sacramento. They do got a big three over there.
His look was priceless. If you can see it, it was hilarious.
No, I don't think the Lakers are gonna do well, right? But I think they'll make the playoffs because they always make the play in, whatever it's called.
Play a tournament.
But I think Sacramento is gonna be the sleeper over there. I don't to make the finals, not to make the playoffs, to make the finals.
Right.
They've done enough in the postseason. They got a big three now.
Yeah.
I think they could do it. I think they're trying to go after for another piece and stuff like that.
You can at the deadline too, so you never know what could happen.
But yeah, I think that's gonna be the finals. I think you're gonna have Sacramento, and I think you have the Knicks. If I had to pick the winner out of those two, I'm picking the Knicks.
I go
With
I can
Cat
see that.
with Cat now, Dante DiVincenzo, the shooter. You have dude from Duke,
RJ Barrett.
RJ Barrett.
He's in Toronto.
He's
He's in Toronto now.
Yeah.
Dang, I haven't watched basketball in a while.
What's this?
0-0.
Okay. Oh, I thought the game was on out there.
So yeah, but I mean, you got a good team.
Right.
You got a good team. They did pretty good last year, and they upgraded.
Well, they were in the Eastern Conference Finals. No, they lost to the Pacers. Never mind.
Yeah.
I think my prediction comes down. I think you got to put the Knicks and the Celtics, and maybe the Heat get in there in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Okay, now you got to pick a team to represent the Eastern Conference.
I got these
Three of them can't make it from the Eastern. I wish one of them were in the West because it'd make it a little bit more interesting.
I know. It's just
You remember when the West was stacked? Now the East is stacked. You got the Bucks, you got the Heat, you got this. I mean, in the West, you really got Dallas,
Pistons, baby.
and you got Sacramento, who are a good team now.
you
Yeah.
got
Golden
Golden State.
They're falling down. I'm sorry, their talent. Curry's great, but he can't do it all.
No,
No.
he can't. But I
You
think-
got the Lakers again. That's why I said the Lakers
I mean,
could
they're
easily
trying to-
make it because there's no one else really in the
I mean,
West.
they're trying to get one. I think
You got the Clippers, but they can never go far because Kawhi can't play no more.
I'm
He's
thinking-
always injured.
That's true.
It's because his laugh is making him injury.
The sad thing is, I knew what you were
I'm
going to
going
say
with
before you
the
said it.
not so good opinion,
Yeah.
and I think they've been doing good last year. The Thunder.
Yeah, I mean the Thunder is an upcoming team.
Yeah.
Oh, my take. What's up? We got a comment. Finish mine. Okay, so real quick in the West, I can see teams like San Antonio and Houston making it because you had a lot of teams fall in the West, Victor and all that. Chris Paul leadership. I'm not picking San Antonio. I'm just saying those are some other teams that could make it splash while some of these other teams come down. I'm gonna pick. I honestly think it could be a repeat. Celtics,
Boston.
Mavericks, because I know I'm a Knicks fan and Spurs, but Celtics didn't lose anybody. They got better. Mavericks got better with Clay. I just don't see there being a change.
Put up an old goose egg.
Well,
No, that happens though, and
It happens.
It's
yeah.
also the
he
preseason,
still has
right?
Kyrie.
So maybe he's shooting with over triple cover. You don't know. I didn't watch the game, so I don't know what.
Is he seeing ghosts? You think?
Huh?
Is he seeing ghosts?
He probably saw 2 rims. I don't know. He could be enjoying. He could be enjoying a Bahama mama because he lives in the Bahamas now. I don't know.
But I really do think if the Celtics can get back,
mean,
this would be the year to do it. And
yeah,
so we'll see.
I
you
mean,
have a point.
I'm a Bucks fan, right? But I'm also a realist, right?
Yeah.
yeah.
Giannis ain't gonna do it by himself. They got a decent team,
Doc Rivers ain't gonna get a
but
say.
that's the problem.
Yeah.
Doc Rivers,
Yes.
That's
the
a
most
problem.
blown 3-0 leads in the freaking NBAs. How many times has he had 3-0 lead? I think like 7 times.
3-0, 3-1, or game clutching 3-2. Like he just can't close.
He's up 3-1.
No.
Okay, you need to win one of the next 3, and you still can't do it. And I think he's failed like 4 times, and that's the most.
I get why we fired our last head coach because we were winning games, but also we had one of the worst defenses. I get that, but we had to hire Doc freaking Rivers. Really?
This dude ruined the Lob City Clippers. This dude is a horrible coach with Joel Embiid and all them and the 76ers and leading them. How does he keep getting jobs?
I don't know.
I
Because
don't
he
know.
won once in Boston?
I honestly think JJ Redick would have been a better hire than Doc Rivers.
Anybody, Mr. Google would have been a better hire.
Just put the ball in the net, man. That's all he's
Give
gonna
it to
tell you.
Giannis.
Just give it to Giannis.
Give it to Giannis. You'll be
Kick
fine.
it out to Middleton every once in a while. We'll do some substitutions. We'll get this thing figured out. We might go 0-7, but we're going to win 60 in a row.
It's just.
He'll teach him defense.
That's just gonna be the Bucks' downfall. Is Doc Rivers like? When has he ever been successful besides Boston?
But I will say why I didn't pick the Knicks is I think they made the trade for Cat too late. Now, if he gets in there around like the late summer, I think they have a better chance. 7-0 Georgia.
Not yet.
Oh, okay.
On the 3rd and 5 on the 3rd and 5.
Ewers threw a pick.
Ewers got sacked for -15.
Ooh.
Fumbled, picked up by Georgia on the 13th. Texas 13th.
Yeah, we're kind of having a live update.
Before we talk about NBA, more NBA and stuff, and I know Mr. Google wanted to say something because he was raising his hand, or maybe there was comments. That's the one thing about the Georgia-Texas game that's going to save Georgia. It's not their offense. It's that defense.
Yeah, and we'll get into college later in the show about that too.
Yeah, sorry.
You're good.
So I think it's going to be a replay of 2011, Dallas, Miami. Dallas winning.
Ooh,
Could be. Jimmy
could be.
Butler still. I mean, who else they got down there? Jimmy Butler.
Bam, I play the banjo.
Bam
Bam
Adebayo.
Adebayo. Bam, I play the bond. And those are still the
Bam, I
only
play
two,
the
though, right?
bond.
Oh, they still got Tyler Hero, don't they?
So Miami's going to be a sleeper on the East.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, we
Yeah.
can all agree that
I mean,
the East teams is pretty much going to be Boston.
I mean, the Thunder
probably
can
the
contend with the
Pacers.
Mavericks.
Knicks.
oh, hold on.
Go ahead. Good.
I think my Mavericks are going to take the West, but I think like you said, the San Antonio Spurs might get 10, but I think it's almost coming down to the Mavericks. I think the Thunder might.
Thunder's
Ta-
a good team, so are the Timberwolves still.
Yeah.
But
The reason I didn't pick the Mavericks only is because when's Kyrie going to explode? And it'd be the cancer of the team.
I thought you meant on the court.
No, the team. The team.
He's kind of like the Stephon Diggs
He
of the
does good for a
NBA.
while, but then he the cancer.
Like that because me and Jay always talk about Kyrie and how I used to like him. He doesn't like it. He pointed out to me that he was like that in Cleveland before LeBron left. Everybody thought LeBron was the problem. No, it was Kyrie.
Exactly. So
And
when is
Kyrie
he going
is
to
a
become a
bad-
problem? And he's
yeah.
been a problem with the Celtics
It's
and other places. He's gone.
Kinda like the Stephon Diggs.
But
Yep.
but this he could also finally step into the role. Okay, I'm not the star, and I'm not going to be the star, and maybe he doesn't become a problem. That's always a possibility too,
Yes.
because we all know this is Luka's team.
Yeah, this is
But
Luka,
in the
definitely.
East, we kind of know most of the teams, right? You know it's gonna be the Celtics. You know it's gonna be the Knicks. You know it's gonna be the Heat. You know the Pacers are gonna be there. You know the Bucks are gonna be there. Those are 5 teams, and the 76ers. That's 6, right, out of 8. So you already
I
got
don't know
6 out
about
of
it.
8. So you got the Bulls maybe pop up a little bit, and then maybe another surprising team. Pistons.
That's what we both said at the same time.
New Orleans, right? With
same amount of
with
win as
Zion,
the Lions.
by the way,
did.
who's actually been playing pretty decent,
Yeah.
and not as long as you can stay healthy, he's okay.
Yep.
And Zion and the Pelicans can make it up there.
Right.
The Brooklyn Nets. Touchdown. Who? Georgia. Do we have a comment?
Yes. Jason says Knicks versus Nuggets, Denver and 6.
Okay.
Well,
I did forget about the Nuggets.
Yeah, I did. How we forget about Jokic? The
I
joke
forgot-
was
I
like
forgot
3-time MVP or something.
Nuggets.
Okay, I changed the pick. Dallas knocks off Denver in 7 games to get to the finals.
I mean, we forgot about the Nuggets, but again,
Yeah.
the West is almost the same thing. You got the Mavericks, you got the Nuggets, you got. Oh, I guess not the
Thunder.
Jazz.
I think the
you got
West is a
Thunder.
little more stacked than we thought. So sorry about that. We kind of
Well, it's not really stacked.
It's
It's
not
just those
stacked,
are the
but-
teams that are going to be up
Right,
there.
yeah.
But when you go up there, the teams that actually have a chance, the Nuggets, the Mavericks, the Kings. Before they got these picks, the Kings, and that's the 3 big ones. The
MVP.
Clippers are dropping, right?
Yeah,
Clippers are dropping. You
I
got
agree.
you got the Thunder coming up. You got because they're young. Houston's coming up. They were young. You got San Antonio, which Victor has played well.
Yeah.
He's not horrible.
No, I mean he almost single-handedly beat Team USA in the gold medal game.
Right.
Right.
If they would have had Joel Embiid and he did decide to want to play for US, they would have won.
Fucking
So I don't know
cool.
why Joel was like, "Oh, I'm gonna play USA. It's gonna be a guaranteed gold," and it almost wasn't.
It almost wasn't. Yeah.
I think we were actually cheering against USA because of that. We're like, you know what? I want France to win, so stick it in your butt, Joel.
Whoa, whoa,
Whoa.
Well, it's a big,
I know.
F you to Joel,
Yeah.
Yeah, but you wanted to stick it.
What you mean?
I know,
That's
the
how
way
you
I said it.
I do love the analogy. I'm not gonna lie. Oh Jesus! And we gotta go to baseball now. Speaking
Yeah.
of sticking it in the butt, huh? Okay.
Heyo, because that's what the
Heyo.
Yankees are doing to the
Cleveland.
Cleveland right. Well, I don't know about right now.
I don't know. I haven't looked.
The series, yes.
Series, yes.
So yesterday, Yankees won to make it 3-1 in the series.
Yep.
Rizzo almost cost them the game, but luckily they came back and did what they did by hitting.
To be fair,
The pitcher, yes, the pitcher didn't
yes,
field the
but
ball
also
correctly, and okay,
I
fractured
think they're playing
fingers.
Rizzo wrong because he's coming off. He has a fractured freaking hand, and
He's also a Cub, so I mean they're just horrible.
he also was on the Cubs team that won the World Series. But anyways,
I'm pretty sure they're going to get caught cheating in 5 years.
Fingers on his gloved hand, so his defending's not as good as he used to be before he broke his hand.
Right.
I don't know, but he was catching balls all night, so they're just saying.
Okay, so to be fair, that's
Not like it was the first inning; it was near the end. So he's been catching it all night. So you don't have that. You don't have that excuse. You've been catching it all night,
right.
and it's not like it
I
was a
think-
fastball. It
Yeah,
was like a little
fastball.
toss.
A little toss. It's nothing. Last I looked. So
Yeah.
end of the first. So 0-0. Okay.
Last time thing with the Yankees, hopefully they do beat the Cleveland and make it to the World Series. And the team I think I want them to face is the Dodgers because of the one thing that's holding the Dodgers back is their pitching. It's because of they don't healthy pitching is the reason why they can score so many runs on the Mets. But here comes the Mets with a strong batting and scored 12 on them.
Look, I want to say this real quick about this Mets and Dodgers. When you score 6 and you still lose and the other team doubles your score, you might have a pitching problem.
Yeah.
At least for that game, yes.
For that game, they've always had a pitching problem. They have pitchers can't be healthy.
But yeah, so I think the
They have to do a
Yankees,
better
the
team.
Yankees are definitely looking forward to playing. I think the Dodgers
Dodgers?
more because yes, the Dodgers can hit. Yes, we know
Yes.
they've won a lot. They score, but the thing is, they're pitching
The pitching
because the Yankees have hitters just like the Mets do.
Yeah,
So you want that. They have better pitching, but because I mean, I think the
think that
Dodgers have won with 8 runs and stuff. So the Mets also have a little bit of problem with the
Right.
pitching. I mean, so don't Yankees. I mean, it happens.
Yes, I mean we had one bad game with Luke Lever.
No, I'm saying it happens.
it does.
You have a game, but it seems like the Dodgers have like 2 or 3 of those games in a series
Yes,
where they might win, but if they win 8-6. You
Didn't
still
they-
allow 6 runs in the win.
didn't they almost lose to the Padres?
Yeah.
Who did? The Dodgers?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Isn't
they-
Blake Snell still on the Padres?
No, he's with the Giants.
Oh, that's right. He's risking his life, bro. During COVID. Did you remember he said that? I'm out there pitching, risking my life during COVID.
Sure.
There's no one there. You're the pitcher. You're all alone on the mound. You're more than 6 feet apart. All right. You're risking your life. You're acting like you're on the
I
front
would-
ling.
I would hope they're more than 6 feet apart on the
I'm
pitching
saying he's
mound.
risking his life. He's acting
Yeah.
like he's on the front line. He's acting like he's playing basketball against people one-on-one contact. There's no one around you.
He acts like a semi-driver.
I mean, if the Mets do pull it off against the Dodgers, it's gonna be an exciting one series because we got a
The
really
Subway Series.
Yeah, you got a hot team when the Mets just came back from being down 1-3.
Which later in our show, we're going to talk another possibility with rivalries meaning a lot more than just a rivalry game. We'll talk about that
Yep.
later, though.
Mhm. Oh, yeah.
So
We talked about that today.
I mean, to me, I hope it's the Yankees Dodgers, but I will be happy with the Yankees Mets.
And that's another thing. Isn't that another rivalry? The old Brooklyn Dodgers and the Yankees.
Yep.
Mhm.
So you're going to have a great rivalry between the Yankees and the Dodgers or the Yankees and the Mets. I'm sorry. I'm already kind of writing off Cleveland. Shouldn't, because you still can win 3 games in a row.
Yes.
Is it possible? Yes. Is it probable?
No.
No.
Not likely.
It's harder to do in baseball to win 3
Yeah,
straight
it is.
games.
We can't be like the Red Sox of 2004, can we? Sorry. But I am picking your Yankees to win it all just because they are clicking at the right time.
Yes, they
They
are.
are hitting at the right time. They could have folded like a taco last night, and this series could have been 2-2. In Cleveland, I know momentum is not a thing in sports. They would have the MO going into this game tonight. And they came back and won. That shows me that
I mean,
they're
you can say
playing.
there's momentum.
But
And
I'm just
I just say I don't believe so because if there is, Florida Panthers would have won
Right.
4-0. If there was,
But
The Oilers would have came back and they would have lost.
But if you don't come back from that game last night, if you're the Yankees, how do you respond to in this game? You've lost 2 games in a row where you had it right there. Well, maybe not game 3, but you had the game. You were up 6-2, and you almost blew it, but you came back and won. That shows me that resiliency.
You got the hits when you
got it when you needed to. You played when you needed to.
Exactly.
And pressure goes back to Cleveland.
I mean, we have good starting pitchers, and when we do falter, it tends towards the end of the game. Is our relievers. We're trying to find the middle ground to where we find decent pitchers to pitch in between.
As long as you can get the runs early, like that's what I'm saying. They falter at the end. So as long as you can get the runs early, then you're getting them.
Yes.
Then if you make that mistake, it's okay.
Because the articles I read before the ALCS started is that the only way that Cleveland can get to the Yankees is that the Yankees are mainly a beginning game team. They knock the runs in, then you close them out and slow them down.
Well, they're gonna have great against the Dodgers because I think the Dodgers allowed 8 runs in the first 3 innings the other day.
And they slow things down and just pitch you out the rest of the game. While the Guardians, the only way they can do it is we get them in the middle innings to try to get more runs in, and they have it.
And that's kind of what happened yesterday, right? They were up 6, and then they got a little bit in the middle, and then they got it at the end when the Yankees made one mistake, technically one mistake.
Yeah.
I don't have anything to say about the National League. I think that's still going to be the Dodgers.
Yes.
Yeah, I know. We said Mets, and this will be the first. Oh, good job, Mets breaking the curse over there, beating the Brewers and making the World Series. Like 10 straight teams beat the Brewers, made the World Series, and it doesn't look like it's going to be the Mets. Sorry, Mets sucks to suck.
But like I said,
but we all picked, I think, the Yankees to win the World Series anyway.
Yeah,
a couple weeks ago.
Because I'm never really.
I said the Dodgers has a chance.
Yeah,
but depending on their hitting, they have to hit. But the thing is, proved you're going to have to not score 6. You're going to have to score 10, 12 runs a night to protect the lead because your bullpen's just as bad.
Yeah.
I mean, they gave up 8 runs in the beginning. That's the starters.
They gave up 12 against the Mets.
Well, I'm saying they gave up like 8 in the first 3-4 innings.
Yeah.
So the bullpen helped them keep it a little bit close.
Yes.
When the star blew up, I think he had like a 7 ERA.
Yeah.
Because he pitched like an inning and allowed 4 runs or something like that.
Right.
It was bad.
Terrible, just terrible.
Luke Weaver has been our closer for playoffs because he had like one of the lowest ERAs in playoff history, which was like 2 point something, which is pretty decent.
Yeah.
But then then that game when the Guardians won, that's when
well, yeah, it's so we're bashing the National League Championship Series. You know what this means, right? The winner of the World Series is probably going to come out of the National League now, right?
As long as it's the Dodgers,
right? Because we're talking about.
But we all know
Yankees,
how I feel about
Yankees,
the Mets,
right? We're talking Yankees. Oh, Mets and Dodgers. Whoever comes out of that's probably going to lose the Yankees. So you know what the MO is now, right? So it's going to be one of those two that beats the Yankees.
Especially whoever he mentions.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
We'll get to that.
Sorry, Texas Tech.
So he mentions Texas Tech's off to a good start this season, and they blew their wad against Baylor.
They lose by like 30.
It was 25.
Oh, does it make it better? It's still a loss.
Do we have any questions over there before we move on? All right.
We have a very good big board topic.
So yeah, this is perfect. We're talking about MLB and everything, and boom, right into our big board, which is
greatest starting pitchers.
We're doing starting, or we're gonna do pitchers and
we can do
categories.
Why don't we just do pitchers as a whole instead of two
and then we'll categories.
Well,
Well, if we say the name, we can say if they're a closer, reliever, or whatever.
We can say if they're a closer or starter.
Greatest.
I kind of want to say it first thing because when I was doing research for this, all the
what are you talking about first? Let them know. Greatest starting pitchers.
Greatest starting pitcher.
There you go.
When you did research for grading starting pitcher, because you do the research, if you haven't watched before, this is the research guy.
Yes,
me and him are off the head guy.
No, I'm the research guy because I don't
Google
know a
helps
lot
us
of
too.
things, but I do research. And a lot of articles I've read about greatest starting pitchers, and one of them I know off the top of my head weren't on any of these lists, and that was probably because he never won a Cy Young, and that was Nolan Ryan.
Which, by the way, I think I remember that from the quiz with balls or the quiz show with balls on Fox.
Yeah,
they said which pitchers never won a Cy Young, and it was like some guy I never heard of, and he won one, and then like some Japanese pitcher, and Nolan Ryan was on there, and I was we would have been eliminated because I would have thought Nolan Ryan won one.
No,
He
he
never
never
did.
won
He
one.
never
and
did.
And to me, I think that's why they never
weird.
put him on the list of greatest pitchers because he never won a Cy Young.
But is he in the Hall of Fame?
oh yeah,
Yes.
Oh, okay. So he's still the greatest pitch.
but
one of the
he's
greatest
also the
pitchers.
only pitcher to pitch 7 no-hitters.
7 no-hitters.
There we-
He's got almost 6,000 strikeouts. He may have over 6,000 strikeouts. I can't
But yet no Cy Young.
remember.
5,714 strikeouts.
He's got great stats, but never won a Cy Young. So the question is, and you should have researched this part. When you told us like he never won one in there and
Yeah.
stuff,
See,
you should have
I-
researched this. What seasons were he going up against these other pitchers?
And honestly, back at that time frame of when he was doing these stats, if I'm just going off memory, he wasn't on very good teams, so they may not have awarded him.
I think recently we found out they thought about winning a team that might not have a winning season or a good season to get one,
See-
and that was with the Mets.
Yep.
With was it not? Yeah, it was Syndergaard, right?
Was
it
it
was-
Syndergaard or Jacob DeGrom?
I think it was
one of them.
DeGrom, not
Yeah.
Syndergaard. Where
And-
DeGrom was, there was a stat, right? I want to throw this out there. This stat was what? I think that year there was like 30 games, or not 30 games, but like maybe like 20 of his losses or some crap like that, where he only allowed 0 to 1 run,
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
0 or 1 run,
And
and they lost those games, 20 of those games, because either the bullpen or no hitting, and they
Yep.
lost 1-0. So if you
Right.
allowed 1 run, they lost because they didn't have hitting.
Yep.
Imagine if they had the hitters on this team.
Yeah.
If this was DeGrom's team, we would be saying the Mets are winning the World Series because they could be. He
Lights
could
out.
not lose a game.
right. And the thing is, I watched this documentary. It's a really cool documentary about Nolan Ryan. And when he first started out pitching, he was a closer.
Yep.
And he was played for the Mets in the late 60s, early 70s. And he had a really good arm, like strong, fast arm, but he couldn't control it. So that's why he was a closer and he wasn't very good until he got coaching and stuff like that. And so when they clocked his fastest pitch, it was like 105 or some odd miles an hour. In that documentary, they reanalyzed it and they said that with the new technology, when the ball left his hand, it was going roughly about almost 120 miles an hour.
And then you
Yeah.
gotta make him a closer at that, or a starter at that point.
Right.
Because you know what, you can't see the ball, you gotta swing eventually.
Yeah, you just gotta.
It don't matter if you control as long as you don't hit him.
And he proved to be like longevity at a pitch. He pitched almost well into his mid 40s.
First pitcher to ever pitch in 4 straight decades.
Robert Ventura when he was 44.
Oh yeah, I
Yep.
remember that. They showed that in the
Mhm.
documentary. Yeah, they showed that. That was
Speaking of pitchers, right, and doing great things and everything and longevity. Do you see in the Mexican League, Trevor Bauer? They had a thing recently where he's like, "No, you're not taking me out until I beat the league record, like strikeouts." Like, well, what's your highest pitch count? He goes 140. I can pitch 140. 140 pitches. That's ridiculous.
Yep.
His
But
arm's
but
probably
you know
jello.
why? But you know why? Because in Mexican League, he takes like every 7. He only pitches 1 every 7 days, so you have 6 more days of rest.
Yep.
His arm's
Right? He's like,
probably
"You're not
jello.
taking me out. I know I beat the team record, but I want to beat the league record."
Yep.
And so I had a list, and another one I like. I can't remember if he was a starter or closing, just because he overcome adversity, being a one-handed pitcher.
Abbott.
Jim Abbott.
Jim Abbott.
For
I
the
think
Yankees.
we all had on this list. I mean,
Yep.
you pitch one-handed
Yeah.
and you're in the majors and you're good at you're not just pitching, right? You're either a great closer, a great starter. I don't care what you are. If you are a star at whatever you are, pitching, I mean, closing or starting. Well, if you're starting, obviously you're good because you're starting pitcher. In the majors, you're good at your job.
Yeah.
It's one hand,
Mhm.
right? So yeah, I think we all had him.
Yeah.
This game single-handedly.
Exactly.
Yes.
Single-handedly, he won. He won. You can't say he didn't.
I have another Yankee on my list. 2 Yankees. One of them is a really good closer. He's in the Hall of Fame. He was the first ever unanimous ballot Hall of Famer.
Let me guess. No, go ahead.
Marino Rivera.
Mariano Rivera, not
Mariano.
Marino.
You can't say his
Whatever.
name right, okay, Mr. Cherry? Marino cherries? Oh, that's Marciano cherries, right?
I think I messed him up by cutting him off. Sorry about
Yeah.
that.
Mariano Rivera.
Who
And
we all agreed is one
We
of the
we
best.
all agreed that was one of our big boards too.
Yes. And another Yankee I have, it's an older one, Whitey Ford.
Mhm. That was a
That
Was he
an
white?
old- yeah.
yeah, he did. I know Whitey Ford,
Yeah.
left-hander, wasn't he?
Yeah. He was a pretty good and one of the best ones in Yankees history.
So You ever watched 61? I know you watched it.
Yeah,
And the
one of
guy
my
who
favorite-
played Whitey Ford in the movie, he threw right-handed. So the way they had to film it, they had to reverse it. He had to wear the jersey backwards,
So that way they can
so
get
they can get it in the
Mhm.
shot. So when he's pitching right-handed, it looks left on the camera.
it's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
See another picture I have on, obviously, Sandy Koufax, and of course the reason why the trophy's named Cy Young.
Okay. I'm so glad you didn't take all of ours.
right. Who brought up the Cy Young thing? Who?
You.
Who? Yeah,
I already had it on my list when you brought him up.
the only one not.
I mean, if he's not on anyone's list, I mean, they named the roar after him, right? That's like
Yeah.
saying
he,
who's one of the greatest coaches? Vince Lombardi. They named the trophy after
Yeah.
him.
he basically set
He
the bar
was
for
too.
what the pitcher is now.
Yep.
He set the bar for the rewards. He set the bar.
I mean, that's a good list. That is a great list, and no one's gonna. That's why we do the big boards, right? Because it's hard to pick 5, so we got to put in a couple each of us and stuff
Mhm.
like that, and then we all agree and stuff like that. Because like when we say top 5 movies, that's our top 5,
Right.
Yeah,
right? This is big board because it's hard to pick because you're gonna leave someone off the list, and then everyone's gonna complain.
yep.
Right.
Which leaves for interaction from them. They're like, "Hey, oh, we want to bring up this guy's name. Oh yeah, we didn't even think of that."
Well, I
person."
had to set my opinion because all these articles I read, none of them put Nolan Ryan on their list, which I kind
Right,
of
and that's fine because we think he's great.
Yes.
because of he's the only
the
pitcher to pitch 7 no
But these
hitters.
articles you read, maybe their criteria was you had to win a Cy Young to be part of the group, right? Just like to win an MVP and not an MVP to a Hall of Fame, there should be certain criterias that maybe they don't get. Maybe that's why we're always talking about, is Phillip Rivers a Hall of Famer? Is this a Hall of Famer? Because was he an all-time pro? Was he not a Pro Bowler, but was he a All-American, or was he all this, or was he this? Right,
Yeah.
first team NFL. Was he this? If he wasn't that, then can you put him in the Hall of Fame if he never won first team NFL and never won a Super Bowl MVP and never won an MVP?
Right.
You're missing all 3 of those categories. Can you put him in? Right.
Right.
And that's why he's on the list. Eli Manning, they're talking about being on the list, but yeah, he won 2 Super Bowls. But did he ever win MVP? Did he ever win first team NFL?
Yeah.
Those are criteria people look at. So maybe those articles, their criteria was Cy Young.
Yeah,
Cy
probably.
Youngs. Because you have a lot of pitchers out there that have never won a World Series, but they'll still be in the Hall of Fame because they won all these other individual awards.
Exactly.
Right, exactly.
A couple comments from Jason. He says Randy Johnson.
That's what we're gonna
Yeah.
I mean, if you hit
I
a
left
bird,
it
if
for
you
you
decimate
guys.
a bird, you're in greatest pitcher
Yeah,
history.
I left it for you guys. I had
For starters, he's got Justin Verlander.
Okay.
Yes.
For closers, he's got the controversial John Rocker.
Oh yeah.
Rocker.
See, I was gonna mention Justin Verlander. I don't know if you were,
You or me were going to mention Justin Verlander,
because I think he was when he was with the Tigers, when he was with the
Astros, Asterix.
he's part of the cheating scandal. But yes, the Rangers. I was saying the Rangers. You had to say the Astros. But
He
yeah,
won a World Series with them. He won 2 of them with them. All right.
cheater for one of them. You can't count that one.
Being part of the team is
In
being
fact,
part of the team.
In fact, he was actually part of the Cheaties.
Uh,
He came up with the trash cans. He gave him the buzzard.
the buzzer.
but yeah, he
gave
goes
us-
on to Kate Upton, so he really doesn't care what we think.
Exactly.
I mean, he won in my book when he's
so,
wearing.
but yeah,
Terry
Randy
Upton.
Johnson was definitely on our list.
Yes.
Oh yeah, when you hit a bird at like 90 miles
I
an
mean,
hour, and all that about
When you knock all the feathers off the bird.
Yeah.
He was ready to be cooked for Thanksgiving dinner, okay?
did they ever find the bird? Because if I saw the video, I'm like, I don't think they ever.
I don't know if there
there.
was a bird left.
No.
Anyway,
no.
so do you want to go next or
You can go. I got a couple that we haven't mentioned yet.
so I think
Yeah.
one of the greatest pitchers, only because I think he was pretty good, was CC Sabathia.
I
I
like
thought he
him.
was pretty good for the
Yep.
Brewers, and he played good for the Brewers. Played good, had some great years for the Yankees.
Right.
A newer closer, I think is good, and I don't know if he's so much that great as to we made him big because of his song Narco, Timmy Trumpets, and all that stuff. Edwin Diaz, he was pretty good for the Mets and everything
Okay.
for a while. I think DeGrom is going to be in that conversations of greatest of all time.
Yeah.
I mean, this dude, you tried so hard. And like we were talking about earlier, you were about to give him a Cy Young on a losing team.
Yep.
A team that didn't have a winning record because it's not his fault. You allowed 1 or 0 runs and the bullpen gives it up and gives up 1 run for the bullpen. He still had no hits, no runs. Bullpen allowed 1. but you had no hitters on that team. And then I think for a closer, another Yankee Chapman. Chapman was another great closer that they could call on. In fact, didn't he win it for the Cubs too?
One for the Cubs and the Rangers.
Yeah, so he was another good one, but he was also on the Yankees and was a great closer for them. I mean, he was as good.
Which I thought was funny because they traded him to the Cubs, and the Yankees told him, you can have him for your World Series run, but we're going to take him back next season, and that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, they won the World Series with him. He helped win the World Series and close it with the Cleveland.
Yeah, another cheater. No, Astro from
Before they cheated.
Roy Oswald, yeah. So I got Kurt Schilling,
Yes.
the Bloody Sock game. Sorry. And you mentioned Pedro Martinez as well. So that's enough for, so I'm going to go with the Red Sox. Another one that I thought was John Smoltz. John Smoltz was good. He came out of the bullpen and closed, and he also won games as a starter for the Braves. Did some pretty good. I thought he had 16 strikeouts in one game, but they still lost 2-1. Greg
Maddux.
Tom
mention
Glavine.
him, Tom Seaver,
Here's another good one that I think is underrated.
Roger Clemens.
Who's the dude? Was it Dempster?
Ryan Dempster.
No.
I was like, he was.
Who's the guy that
terrible.
got hurt getting out of the bathtub?
What?
Every guy that has arthritis.
No, what was his name? He was definitely a pitcher for a team. I think he played for the Cubs.
He got hurt coming out of the bathroom. Whoa!
I'm never picking Texas again.
No.
No.
Oh man, humble pie going on in Austin.
Well, there goes. See, there goes their national championship. Or Georgia's number one again.
Oregon probably.
They're going to jump over Oregon.
Do you think they're going to jump over?
Wait, no, they were number 5, weren't they?
Yeah,
Georgia 7.
I thought Georgia was 5. Alabama was 7. Just
Well,
like,
Alabama was
They're
7.
not jumping Oregon then.
no, they're not jumping
I thought
over.
they were. I thought they were 3 for some reason.
So
Yeah.
the
Penn
guy
State's
coming out of the
still here,
bathroom for Hoopa team.
I can't remember. It was a while ago, and I know he was a pretty decent guy, but it just slipped my mind. It wasn't Dempster. It was somebody else.
What team?
Maybe it was Max.
I'm trying to figure out what team. If you
He
give me
played
a
for the
team-
Cubs.
Cubs. Brian Dempster. You got Kerry Wood. I'm just naming off pitchers that I know for the Cubs. We got Matt Clement. Oh crap! Where's my coworker? He's a Cubs
I
fan.
swear
He
it was
would
when,
know.
like when I
This
was in
was
high
like
school or something
Yeah,
like that.
early 2000s.
Yes.
Oh, jeez. I'm Josh Beckett from the Marlins in 03. Sorry, I keep throwing shade at
it
the
might have been
Yankees.
Wood, but I remember it was a pitcher. It might have been Maddox.
Well, that's not my fault. You lost. You beat us on the way there, so. But
Maybe I heard something else. Maybe I heard someone joked about being a hot tub or something like that. But
See, another great pitcher is Roger Clemens.
yeah,
yes, very.
Kerry Wood.
I mentioned Kerry.
Getting out of a hot tub during spring training.
I thought you said Tyler Wood.
Kerry Wood.
Yeah, Kerry Wood. He was an
He
okay
said
pitcher.
slip
He
out
was
of a
pretty
hot
good. He just the problem is he wasn't good for a long stretch.
No, it wasn't.
That's why I said he was kind of underrated, but he was pretty good for the Cubs when they needed him.
One guy I liked, and he was more of a closer, with Eric Gagne with the Dodgers back in the day.
Now here's a name.
Oral Hershiser.
All these old names though, they're great.
You know who he is? He was
No.
a pitcher. Was it Baltimore?
Who?
Oral Hershiser. No.
The Dodgers.
Dodgers? I don't like the Dodgers, so I don't care.
So, but it first of all, I just dare anyone to go back to like 1900s baseball and just look at these random
Cy Young
Hilarious
played from
names.
1890 to 1911.
But
I do
no,
believe.
like. Well, I was gonna say something. And I just lost
We're just going all over the place on these
Whitey
pitchers.
Ford played in the 60s.
Whitey Ford.
No,
Sandy
I know. I was gonna
Koufax.
say something else, and we to bring it all together about something, and it just slipped my mind because we said oral. I was like, huh?
Oral.
Whoa.
Well, he said
Whoa.
a random name, and I was like,
Oral. I know who Oral Hershiser is. Used to be Sunday Night
right. Then
Baseball.
you asked me the question.
I thought you knew who
the
he
thought
was,
was-
the way you reacted.
but the thought was coming in my head, and then as he said it, my thought went, wait, what?
Oral and coming, and we're
No, God.
Moving on.
Moving on.
hell of a time for a promo. isn't it?
Yes. This promo list.
So we are sponsored by B&L Creative Designs. They did make this ornament, but also we got these T-shirts, 3 Morons T-shirts with our faces. So if you would love to have a T-shirt with our face, reach out to us on Facebook or go to B&L Creative Design on Facebook, or you can go to the Etsy page, BL Creative Design Shop.
Yep.
For all your again T-shirts, they got this, they got the bracelets that you're wearing. They got woodworking needs. They got their jewelry, cutting boards, the lanterns. It's big and popular right now considering Halloween. Well, it's almost over. Thanksgiving and Christmas as well. They're very good, interchangeable faces. We had them on a couple episodes ago, probably like 4 episodes ago. I think we had a lantern, maybe 5. But yeah, this right here with the light, Christmas tree, the lighting behind it would be perfect. You can kind of see it goes through. It's actually pretty beautiful. I've never seen it with the light.
Yeah.
It looks like a sunset over there. It's pretty nice. Right, and it looks like a sunset behind or a sunrise.
Yep.
You know, pink in the morning, pink at night, whatever one you want. Yeah, you want pink in the morning. Sailors take warning.
Love it.
They're laughing, but the Navy guys over here, we know. Well, I don't know if you feel a lot of tide and stuff being under, but when I was on my first, don't worry, I was like, why is this cookie sheet, No, I said, why is there bungees holding it to the wall? They're like, you'll see. One day I didn't put it up, and we hit some waves, and all the bread and stuff went down. I learned out why you clip it in.
Yep. So
not so much on the aircraft carrier.
Ooh, yeah. So you wanted to start off with the NFL. I wanted to bring this up because this came over my phone a few minutes ago. The Jets are seeking trade interest for Garrett Wilson. That's going to segue us into what happened
because I'll touch on this real quick, right?
Yeah.
And I like that idea, right? Because you got 2 number ones. Yep. And this is going to segue into one of the questions I had for the NFL, unless you want to do the NFL right now.
That's next on our list. we can talk Jets.
Oh, I thought we were going to football. Yeah, that's right. So yeah, the NFL is going to segue us away. So my question was this: until they trade the Wilson, right? I think they got another week or so before the.
Well, they have to play tomorrow night again.
November 1st is a trade deadline.
November 1st. So they got about another week.
Yeah.
Right? Because you got this following week, and then you got like a couple more days. So you got about a week and a half. Right now, if Wilson doesn't get traded, right? Now, this kind of changes the question. But if Wilson doesn't get traded, are they now a playoff contending team? Not so much a contender for the Super Bowl, but a contending team for the playoffs. Because when's the last time Rodgers had 2 number ones? Because you can't double team both. You double team Wilson, cool. You got Devontae one-on-one.
Right.
And when's the last time Devontae's been one-on-one?
Been a while since he was at Green Bay.
Since Jordan Nelson was with Green Bay? I mean, were they even on the same team?
Right.
At this point, I got to question my history of that part.
Right.
And when's the last time Garrett Wilson's been one-on-one?
Been a while.
Never since he's been with the Jets, because he's only been for this is his third year.
Third year.
Yeah.
So you got 2 number ones that you're going to get one-on-one coverage from at least one, if not both.
Right.
You can't double cover one of them because the other one's going to be open. So
Yep.
I think this propels them because we went over this yesterday.
Right.
They played the Patriots and beat them already.
Yep.
You got the Dolphins twice, so that's 2 more wins probably.
They have a very favorable schedule.
They have
You can still beat the Bills with these 2 receivers.
Yes.
Yes.
In
So
the
you-
6-game stretch,
I think you make at least the last seed,
They
the
have
7th seed.
Right.
in the 6-game stretch that the Jets have upcoming, they have a very well going 6-0
They have
or
a-
5-1.
They're only
Very well, good chance.
the only game that they're not going to be at least talked about being picked is Houston. They're not going to beat Houston, I don't think. If they get things together, they'll give them a challenge.
They can with the receivers.
Yeah.
Because again, I understand they don't have an offensive line. He had a horrible offensive line in Green Bay. He can learn.
Right.
But the thing is, and this brings you to the trade right here. Because he hasn't been on the same page as Wilson, he wants him out. We already know how Rodgers is. You don't catch my passes, you don't get the ball.
Yep. And you don't play.
And guess what? It don't matter if Lazard doesn't catch him. I got history with him. Oh, it don't matter if Devontae. I got history with him. Which brings us back to the earlier. We talked about NBA does it, NCAA or NHL does it, MLB does it during the preseason. Rodgers is to blame.
Mhm.
I'm sorry.
Right.
You were out with an injury. You have not gelled with this team before you started last year. You didn't play in the preseason. You're not playing in the preseason this year, and you expect everything to click because you're expecting to know you. No,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. You got to get that in the preseason.
Right.
So you're getting it worked out during the regular season. That's why you and Wilson haven't been on the same page. Yes, Lazard and Devontae know you. But you know what? Did it work in Green Bay? So you're going to take the team and bring them to New York and go, oh, it's the same team, but with different colors. So it's gonna work.
Not necessarily. We don't have yellow in the Jets.
That's the thing. It's different colors and it's gonna work, right?
Right.
Oh, it's just a different team name, so it's gonna work.
Yeah, I seen a meme that said the New York Packers, and they had memes throughout the week saying Eddie Lacy, Jordy Nelson, and Pat McAfee would sign with the Jets.
And then I put one on
freaking funny.
Facebook. They said they're gonna sign the cheese. I will not allow that to happen.
Sign the what?
Sign the
Cheese.
cheese. The cheese head. The cheese head. To the Jets.
I'm like,
Mason Crosby's gonna come out of nowhere.
Oh, please.
he's currently free.
He hasn't officially retired yet.
Just go back to Green Bay. We need kickers.
Hey,
But
you
at
signed
least be a
Brandon
special-
McManus.
At least be a special teams
Hey, you're
coach.
signing a really good kicker, McManus.
I agree.
But
He's
yeah,
a Super Bowl
so-
champion, too.
So Wilson,
He was the kicker.
Yeah, he was. I had a thing for that. Yeah. 'Cause he's really
So I
pretty
honestly
cool.
think that even if you don't make the trade Garrett Wilson, you still have that one-on-one matchup. You trade Garrett Wilson, get an offensive lineman.
I think if you trade Garrett Wilson, you either need a first round pick,
right.
and maybe a backup offensive lineman or whatever,
Yeah,
Yeah.
or you go for a star offensive lineman
yeah. You
and
have to make.
do it like almost an even trade, and maybe like a six round pick to receive on top of the offensive lineman.
Right.
Condition-
Because
maybe,
because
you know.
they're not stud players. But again, who's going to give you a star offensive lineman for a receiver? Because then they're losing their offensive lineman, and they're not going to have the quarterback to throw it to. I mean, you're going to trust me.
I can see
The game is not about even trades. It's find the bigger sucker, find the bigger dummy than you are. Right? Find the dummy. That's how trades happen. You find the guy that's dumber than what you were.
All honesty, I can see him trading for the 49ers for Trent Williams backup. Trent Williams backup is pretty good.
Trent Williams is pretty good.
Yeah, that's why the guy never plays. So we don't. You know,
That's what I'm saying. You find a backup
Yeah,
Mhm.
who's good, who's better than what you got.
Yeah.
Because I think the Jets had Bakhtiari.
no, they don't.
Well, he was on the thing I saw, but again, he's probably injured. So they might have him. He's injured, right? So maybe his backup's not good.
I don't know.
I mean, it is what it is. You see what happens, and hopefully it works out for them. But you see what happens.
So we saw that, and then brings us the other thing with the Devontae Adams and the thing, because the whole Garrett Wilson and
So
and
assuming
whatnot.
that we don't hear about this Garrett Wilson news earlier, your question was Devontae Adams, does he save the Jets?
Not save the Jets. There's more than that. Just need to be saving.
They need Jesus.
Just makes them a playoff contender. Like, are they gonna now? Can they actually contend for that last spot in the playoffs?
The Jets O line makes the 2021 Bengals O line, when the one that went to the Super Bowl, look great.
Again, though, Rodgers has dealt with that before in Green Bay.
Yep.
If you do quick slants one-on-one with Devontae or Garrett Wilson, or quick passing routes, because they're going to be one-on-one, they're going to get open.
Right.
So again, they could easily make, and like we already said, they're very favorable in the next 6 games. They could easily make a case for that last playoff.
Well, and
but they're not going to make a splash in the playoffs.
They're trying to
No.
auction off Mike Williams too.
Yeah, I just saw
Yeah.
that earlier too, and there was another one that
If
I
I'm
saw.
the Chargers, I take him back. Chargers or the Steelers are the top orders to get him.
Oh,
I'm the
and
Yeah.
teams are also inquiring about Cooper Cup.
Yep, that could be.
Because you got Puka Nacua, who actually played great till he got hurt, right? So, I mean, you got 2 receivers producing. Do you want them picks? But I don't
Right.
think the Rams trade Cooper Cup and Puka.
No,
One of
I
those two. I don't
think
think they trade them.
They're gonna try and get the season salvaged.
The
before
thing
they do
is,
that.
because you're having a horrible start because they both got hurt, you're
Right.
going to need them to get back
and
on.
like you also pay attention to the Steelers. They're starting Russell Wilson. But they said they also will Russell Wilson play most of the game, but Justin Fields will also play as well. So it's interesting how that game will go. But if you want my take on it, I think Fields should have been your starter. Should have been your starter. Yeah, he said he hasn't been playing well.
Yeah.
And
you have to keep talking, man. Come on.
sorry, stuttering. So it's just with him, Justin Fields proved that he can be a good starter.
Yep.
Like when he went from the Bears into the Steelers last year, it's night and day. You actually have positive coaching around you, and you actually have good teammates.
It's night and day with Caleb Williams back there because you have receivers.
Oh yeah,
Justin Williams had DJ Moore and no offensive line.
No.
Caleb Williams has no offensive line and receivers.
oh yeah,
So he can at least throw it to somebody.
yes. And also, what's keeping the Steelers in these games is also their stout defense.
Just an update on that Georgia Texas game. 17-0. Georgia has 3 sacks, an interception, and a fumble recovery.
Forced fumble and a fumble recovery.
Well, yeah, the fumble recovery. So
Um,
let's just say, like I told you, if they're gonna win this game, they need to win it on defense.
Yeah.
Interception and fumble recovery right there. That's 2 turnovers.
Now are the fans going to want Arch to go in there?
Probably. You know what? At halftime, they might put Arch in there. If it's 17-0 and it hasn't worked, you got to go with somebody else. Because this is a major game. You need to win. The SEC, we saw. Tennessee has 1 loss. Texas might have 1 loss, or Georgia if Texas comes back.
Right.
It's very much.
Yeah.
Hey, anyone can go, except Alabama, can go to the SEC championship game.
Right.
It's also no surprise, and go back to the Steelers thing, is that I don't think the only reason why they're playing Russell Wilson is because they're paying him so much money.
Well, no, I said that yesterday, but then I realized their money's coming from Denver.
Yes.
So it's only $1.6 million or something like that.
Yes, but also
I think he's getting like $20 million and 1.6 from Steelers.
Justin Fields plays 51% of the snaps.
That's what it is. The GM doesn't want to give up the pick.
Yeah. So their
To
6th-round
Denver.
pick that they give for Justin turns into a 4th-round pick if he plays 51% of
If
snaps.
I'm Mike Tomlin, no losing seasons.
F them picks.
F them picks or you lose me.
Yeah.
Exactly.
What do you think they're going to do?
I mean,
F them picks because they don't want to
yes,
lose Mike Tomlin, who hasn't
yes.
had a losing season yet.
Justin Fields hasn't had the flashy throwing stats, but he's
They're winning and they're not losing.
He's a game manager. He's making sure they get in scoring positions and they score.
I'm sorry. I'm going to look at this stat, right? This is going to help me decide Justin Fields or Russell Wilson. Didn't at one point Russell Wilson had more bathrooms in his mansion during most of NFL season than he had touchdowns? Yes.
Yeah, he did.
I'm going with Justin Fields.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just
And
how
he
it is.
and he has less to work with now than he did in Denver at that time.
Also, I want to bring up my Broncos just because they did win 33-10. I know
With no touchdowns by Bo Nix.
no
No
There was
turnovers.
mainly no turnovers either. It was just mainly a game managing rushing team. It was like one of our main struggles throughout the season.
that's
where
what
she
you need.
ran.
Yeah, that's what you
And
got.
I mean, that's what Sean Payton needs as,
Yep.
as a game manager, and that's what he was.
Mm-hmm. And an interesting thing is that this one, Richard Sherman brought it up during the game, is that the Saints is not playing like they want to play. They're playing like they want to get their coach fired, which I thought that was.
Well,
funny.
I'm sorry, you lost your quarterback.
Yeah.
You're not going to play as good as you were playing because as much as we criticize Derek Carr throws 4,000, 5,000 yards a season.
You're right.
He was playing well.
Now you're going to Spencer Rattler, who doesn't have the experience. Yeah,
Right.
you're not going to play like you did.
And
See,
the thing is, go ahead, Jake. Go ahead.
and the thing is that even before,
boy.
oh boy,
Keep going. Keep going. Well, we can.
even before that, they had they were 2-0 off to a hot start. Then they fucking flatline like my grandma.
Oh, that is. That's almost as bad as not so fast, midget. Like, come on.
First of all, if Georgia loses, it wins, right? Can you count that another loss for Undertaker in like WrestleMania moment over here?
Yeah, because of Goldberg.
And it's just even before Derek Carr got
Flatline
injured.
like his grandma. I'm just trying to make it a little bit. Someone laugh a little bit more. Yes, question, please.
Jason Hartwell says Cleveland's at 1-0 on the Yankees.
Sorry.
Yeah, I saw that.
And Jenny Bush says Zach, you should be a commentator.
Jay Bush.
Jenny Bush.
Oh, okay.
Just a person. Calm your horses.
I know it was.
No, I'm talking about this person over here.
Yeah.
Hugh Hefner.
What are you blushing for?
Yeah.
I'm just saying it's a person. Like
yeah,
every week I get called Hugh Hefner. The end.
Which version of Hugh Hefner?
I mean, I am wearing
minus the looks, minus the money.
I don't have shoes on right now. I'm just going bare socks. He's got
And-
fucking oars over here. Pardon my language.
Don't judge my big feet. Anyways, it just even before Derek Carr got injured, the Saints weren't really playing as well as they did in the first 2 games.
But who they play the first 2 games?
Carolina and Dallas, which
Carolina and
aren't
Dallas.
that great.
Which we thought the Dallas game was great.
No, it wasn't.
And then the Lions came into town and showed us it wasn't that great. Which brings me to that point. Okay.
It brings you back to my original subject of Denver. Is that during I watched the pregame of the Amazon game, and they pointed out is that mainly all college offenses are mainly shotgun offenses. They're no like standing out of the center or nothing like that. And they tried doing that with Bo Nix. It wasn't working. Sean Payton was like, okay, guys, go back to the drawing board of the offense and try to do a college like offense for him.
See, that's the thing. College, Arch is in now.
Told you.
I mean, you're down 20-0.
Might as well.
Update, by the way.
well.
You gotta go somewhere different. You're almost down 3 touchdowns against a great defense. You need to change now. Whether it's halftime or not, you need to change now.
Georgia, Texas has a family. Lay low.
So my point about I'll touch on the Dallas and the
We got plenty of
college, right? Is that's what they're doing now, right? To make these college quarterbacks successful.
time. Right.
They're bringing the college game a little into the NFL.
Yes.
And it works and it doesn't work. It works because it helps them transition for
Yeah.
a couple of years. Like if Caleb Williams and stuff, you got to give them that time. Like if you're going to start them right away, Bo Nix, JJ McCarthy would have. Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels.
Right.
You have to play a little bit like the college to get them going. And hopefully you can win some games like that and get them the experience. But while you're doing that, you also put in a little of the NFL under the center and stuff.
Transition.
Not the whole game, but some of the game, right?
Right.
To get them okay here, and then maybe near the end of the season, you're taking more snaps under center than what you were.
Yep.
But if you have a great offensive line or you're a good runner, Jaden Daniels can do it from the shotgun.
Yeah.
Caleb Williams can kind of do it from the shotgun. Bo Nix is not a big runner. He can
No.
run.
He can run.
He played at Oregon. I'm pretty sure he can run. They got
Yeah.
track stars over there.
Right.
But he's not known for running.
No.
Right. And I'll say this about the Saints. They're Derek Carr, they need him back. Dennis Allen has lost that locker room.
Oh yeah.
He needs to be fired. This team was off to a good start. I know their competition, and I've said this all year. You still got to go out there and play and win games. They against Atlanta, and they may have been a little bit closer with the Chiefs, but this team has just gotten worse and worse since
Yes.
Carr got injured. He's
Right.
lost the locker room. They need to make the change. They got to make it now.
Right.
Exactly.
So
another opinion I've had. Another opinion.
good for the Broncos too. By the way.
Yeah. Right. Another video I watched on TikTok was about how now there's a newer generation, not like the old generation playing in their 30s, taking care of the NFL. Now it's this newer generation of quarterbacks coming in playing good. It's because of back then, 10 plus years ago, it was either the quarterback has to fit my system or you can't play. Nowadays, it's like, oh, we're switching the system to fit you.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just how the NFL switched that mentality.
And I'm gonna touch on making the change, right?
You spent a first round draft pick on him. You need to make the adjustment for him easy.
So we're gonna talk about making a change. And we all know in this room where there needs to be a change.
I mean, I'll leave if you need me to.
No,
Me too.
Oh,
no,
I
no,
thought that's where
not
you were
not
going.
between us and the NFL. Jerry Jones. There
You
needs
know,
to be a
He needs
change
to
there.
flatline like your grandma.
So whether I don't wish death. I don't
you
wish
go
death.
to the
No,
nursing
no,
home
no.
and float down
I
the
don't
river.
wish death.
No,
I
no.
don't wish senile disease or whatever you want to do, right? What I do wish though,
Senile disease.
what,
I know what you're talking about.
what you need to do
No,
though
duh.
is you need to give football control to football guys, or give up the control to your son. Whatever you need to do,
Well, I thought he was going to update it again.
whatever you need to do. The reason being is what happened on Sunday should not happen. You have one of the better defenses, and the Lions are trying to let the linemen score. I mean, that's bad.
And they came close like 4 times.
They
Think
were
of this.
dead set on trying to make a lineman score.
30 years of Jerry Jones owning this team. 30 years. The worst home loss on his birthday. The Lions, the Detroit, or not Detroit, the 35 years. The Dallas Cowboys, yeah, that's right, 89.
89 when he bought him.
35 years. The Dallas Cowboys went, happy birthday, Jerry. We're not working.
Here's a big old goose
So-
egg.
We're taking your birthday off.
We'll give you field
Except
goals
for,
for your
except for
birthday.
Brett Aubrey. Brett Aubrey scored three field goals.
And-
So no, the thing is, and Mr. Google sent me a clip. I showed you the clip where the guy, girls can't play football. He goes, yes, they can. They can play for the Dallas Cowboys. He goes, first, tell your son that. But he's right, because I seen girls hit harder than the Dallas Cowboys did in this. He's like, we got cats on this team that don't know what VHS is, and that's the last time you can watch our Super Bowl.
Yep.
It's bad. It's because he's egotistical, right?
Yes.
You didn't give me the credit, so I'm firing Jimmy Johnson. You didn't give me the credit. I want the credit. So that's why he's the GM. I get the credit for building this team. I get the credit if we win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, how's
but they
will that
don't
work
win.
it out for you, Jerry?
They don't win because he wants the credit, so he makes the moves. He needs to stop making the moves. He needs to give it to either football guys or even his son to be the GM. Because at least he'll make more competent moves.
Yes.
Because I'm sorry, you signed a quarterback. And again, I didn't mind. The thing is, this guy's not playing like it.
No.
And now I understand he wants the money. Thank you, New York, for that problem. Because Daniel Jones done less and got money. So, of course, Dak's going to get paid.
Yep.
Dak wants to get paid.
Yep.
But you pay him the money. You pay CeeDee Lamb the money. And what does CeeDee Lamb do in the playoffs? Drop.
Yep.
Drop against the Packers. The Packers should not have won that game that bad.
No.
Exactly. they probably shouldn't.
They shouldn't have.
But because they won, they got it in their head and they went in and they almost beat San Francisco. It helped them get there.
Yeah.
He said she loves y'all shirts, by the way.
Thank you.
Well, thank you,
Jenny.
Jenny. B&L Creative Designs on Facebook or BL Creative Design Shop on Etsy. But again, he dropped. And yes, some of the passes later were Ferguson's the only one that showed up in the game, but Dak was actually playing good in that game.
Yeah.
And was actually getting it to CeeDee Lamb. But you can't have CeeDee Lamb dropping it. You can't have Dak overthrowing it.
Right.
You can't have Dak making stupid mistakes like running up the middle in a playoff game and sliding with no timeouts left and no time on the clock against the Buccaneers. Yes.
49ers.
No, he did that against the Buccaneers with Tom Brady. That was the year Tom Brady won the Super Bowl.
Talking about the Ohio State quarterback or what?
No, where we're getting
No,
into
that's
that.
Oregon.
That's
He
Oregon.
took that move out of
Yeah.
out of the Dak plays. But no,
Oh, man.
it don't matter who he
You
does
like
it.
you
He
want
did
my
it in the
honest
playoffs.
opinion about what Jerry Jones
And Mike McCarthy's on the hot seat.
Yes. You
But like Mr. Google said, he's going to stay for 10 years.
right? You want my honest opinion?
I'll go after you, Jake.
It's that Jerry Jones needs to take a step back, give up that freaking tight grass you have the GM role.
That's everyone's opinion. I don't think anyone in America, except maybe Philadelphia Eagles, Giants fans, and Commander fans, are going to disagree, or Cowboy haters is going to disagree with you. Even Stephen A. Smith agrees with you, and he hates the Cowboys.
Yeah,
Yes.
and he needs to take a step. I'm not saying he needs to sell a team. He
doesn't need to sell the team.
Be the owner.
Be an owner.
Don't worry about being the GM.
What did you say again? Be an owner.
Yeah.
Be an owner.
Step back, right?
Man knows how to
step
make
back.
money.
Look
Man
at
knows
what
how to
Kraft
do it.
was doing. I'm an owner. Belichick's making good moves. He could be the GM.
Yeah, exactly. Like get somebody in that knows how to make trade moves, not someone that's has a memory and thing
Again,
of Joe Biden.
even his son knows a little bit more about football, can make competent moves.
right
Now, you're gonna say something before I talk about Mike
Oh,
McCarthy.
I was texting real quick. Sorry. So what I was going to say was Jerry Jones needs to stick to the owner role.
Yes.
He knows how to make money. He didn't get that rich by being dumb. He needs to take a step back. I think it's unfair that Mike McCarthy was on the hot seat before the season because of the success he's had during the season. I know he didn't get anything done in the playoffs, but how long did he last in Green Bay before he actually got fired? He should have been fired after that.
Aaron Rodgers kept his job.
He should have been fired after that 2014 loss to the Seahawks.
Oh,
They
yeah,
didn't
he
get
should
that-
have.
So that's my point.
Oh, you mean to tell me when they got the onside kick and all that
Yeah,
other
yeah.
stuff? Yeah.
Yeah, that's just
Trust me, I should know because he
Yeah.
let the foot off the gas. Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
So that being said, now you're looking at the whole team as a whole. We can blame Prescott. We can blame CeeDee Lamb. We can blame all these guys getting paid. Yeah, fucking gave up 47 points
That's
and
the
let
defense.
a lineman score 4 times. Mike Zimmer needs to be fired first.
Why do you
Yes,
think he's
that's
not with
my
the
other-
Vikings?
What?
Why do you think he wasn't with the Vikings?
See, that's my other opinion is that when you look at the last 2-3 years with Dan Quinn running that defense and look how like they were like top 5 defenses.
Where's Dan Quinn now, by the way?
Head coach of the Washington Commanders.
Who's number 1 in that division right now?
Dan Quinn, head coach of the Washington Commanders.
Okay, thank you.
And that's being my honest opinion. It's just like when he left, they like, oh, we're bringing another top candidate that can help win this defense. Their defense is 32nd in everything right now.
And did they have the same defense as last year?
Yeah.
Almost
Yeah.
players?
Yep.
You can't say it's the chemistry with the guys.
So it's not the
pretty
players.
yeah, it's not the
It's got to be
players.
the scheme.
It's a scheme. It's a coach.
Well, the thing is, I think it is the players too, right? The players aren't meant for the scheme that Zimmer's running.
Yeah.
They're meant for the Quinn scheme that he was running.
Is Parsons resigned? I don't know. No. Why wouldn't he not walk? I wouldn't want to stay on this team.
You know why? Because he wants to
He's
prove,
in his prime.
He wants to get his, not his stats, but he wants to prove, hey, I'm still good. Somebody sign me.
Yeah, I would want out.
And now
sorry,
here's my
I
thing.
mean, I don't like
Here's
say
my
that.
here's the question.
What? That's true.
Right. And here's the question I have with that part. Do you think no matter what he walks, or does Dallas have to give him an extreme contract to keep him?
They're gonna go broke.
Yeah,
They do that.
they're gonna go
Between
pro.
3 players.
Oh yeah.
Who have not made it past the divisional round of the playoffs in their careers.
Now Mike
Dak Prescott.
Mike McCarthy's in the hot seat and all that other stuff. And I think they're gonna start there.
They do.
But he's not just the problem. It's not just him.
No.
But the question, and we talked about this earlier, they're still called America's team
Yep.
because no matter how much they lose, they sell money.
Yep.
They make money. They sell tickets. They sell merchandise.
Mm-hmm.
And Stephen A. Smith said that. And I saw it in a clip. He goes, that's why they make the money. That's why they're still America's team. And it's true. And maybe that's why Jerry Jones just figures, hey, everything's going fine because, yeah, we're losing, but we're still making money.
Yeah. If you're bringing a profit home,
if he's looking at money, then yeah, you know what? You're successful, Jerry.
Yeah.
You're successful. But you know what? But
Right.
shouldn't you be, I don't know, playing to win the game?
yeah.
Wayne won
Herm
the
Edwards.
Super Bowl for the
Right.
first time in 30.
You
or
play to win the
30.
game, not to make money,
30,
right? Making money is
28
icing on
years?
the cake.
So merchandise sales
Yeah,
aside,
20, almost 30
who would
years.
be the team that replaces him as America's team? I'm just gonna throw that question.
If you're gonna go by winning
If
or
we're
by
gonna-
fan base, because here's
Fan
my
base
pick.
has got to be the
and-
Chiefs.
No, because they're bandwagon. I think
Oh yeah.
fan base would be the Steelers
Oh yeah.
or the Packers.
Packers, they're everywhere.
Yep.
Packer fans are everywhere. They're the one of the most best represented travel teams.
I look on some of the Facebook posts. There's Packer fans over in Israel, the Middle East, holding up.
Cowboy fans over there too.
Right. But he's talking about merchandise aside, right?
That's
Cowboys
close.
When I was in the UK.
Yep.
Right. So if you take merchandise aside, right?
To validate the point, I'm talking about sides Dallas. Who would be that team that replaces? Who would be the team that replaces Dallas?
Because I think a lot of these people it's just
Denver
merchandise, right? Because you hear America's team's the Cowboys, America's team's the Cowboys, America's team's the Cowboys. It's been beating their heads, so they buy the Cowboys merchandise overseas.
Right.
I think the Packers, because of the fact of, okay, you got the older people who moved around or lived
Yeah.
at other places because of Bart Starr. Then you got the Brett Favre era people who live other places who started watching football during
Right.
Brett Favre, so they live everywhere and pass it down. Now you got people who are becoming parents now or just starting to watch football, not now, but recently, and they're Aaron Rodgers fans, but they're in California, they're here, they're here,
Right.
they're here. So Packers are one of the most traveled. Same with the Steelers, they're one of the most household names because of travel. Another one recently I've seen is a lot of Patriots fans because they started growing up watching Tom Brady.
Yep.
So that's another one that could be because they learn loyalty. They started watching the game because of Tom Brady or the
Right.
Patriots because of Tom Brady. When Tom Brady left, they kind of followed the Buccaneers, but they still stayed loyal to the Patriots.
Yeah.
So some of the people who do grow up watching a team when you're young, like when I was young, I was a Michael Jordan fan,
Mhm.
right? Knowing the Chicago Bulls and stuff. But then I quickly went back to the Bucks. But there's a lot of people who are still Bulls fans because they watched Jordan.
Yep.
They didn't leave the Bulls. They stayed loyal to the Bulls.
Rough few years there after Michael left, and same thing going with the Patriots now.
And then Rose came and you thought you had it all, and then five
Mm.
knee surgeries later and ankle surgeries.
And I think if he doesn't get hurt, he wins the finals.
If he doesn't get hurt, he's another great Chicago player.
yes,
Yes.
I think
And
he
never
already is
leaves
before.
Chicago.
Yeah, but Derrick Rose,
Yeah.
If he never got all those injuries,
All
he's
his
there.
knees are just made of metal.
Yeah. But if you're
Lonzo
going by,
Ball's the next great.
right, but if you're going by winning, that's got to be the Chiefs.
Yeah, if you go by but again, now you got this new generation
Yep.
following it, and they're gonna be Chiefs fans because again, a lot of the adults I'm saying is bandwagons.
Yes.
Yes,
Like there's a certain person in that was a Chiefs fan for a while, but he used to be a Falcons fan, but now he got tired of them winning and went back to the Falcons.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Yep.
I know what you're talking about.
I'm not saying names or anything, but I'm just saying there's a certain
Oh,
person
yeah, I
we
know what
know.
you're talking about.
So,
half the house is Chiefs fans.
and they never were.
Yeah,
Like 7 years ago, they never were. And I understand you're also in this area. There's a lot of Chiefs fans
Yeah.
in this area. But again, You got a lot of people, and I like Pat Mahomes. I like Travis Kelce.
Mhm.
I'll
Same.
cheer for them every once in a while. I love Andy Reid. I think Andy Reid is one of the greatest head coaches of all time,
Same.
and probably even still to this until he became the Chiefs, he was underrated as a coach.
I still think he had a Hall of Fame career with the Eagles. He just
Right, but he still,
cemented his stuff
technically-
with Kansas City.
Technically, I think he was underrated as a coach
I did too.
until Pat Mahomes came. But what he's done with Alex Smith and everyone else.
Donovan McNabb was his first.
Oh, I'm
really
talking
good-
about with Donovan McNabb, but even with the Chiefs with Alex Smith before Pat Mahomes, he was doing good.
Didn't he also play with Michael Vick for a little bit?
Yeah, Michael Vick was a guy he took a chance on, and he went to the playoffs with him too.
Yeah, Andy Reid's one of the greatest coaches of
Oh,
all
yeah.
time.
Yep.
Top
He's
five.
just finally
Top five.
got over that hump of not winning a Super Bowl.
Now he's won like
winning
every
all
one
of
he's
them.
been to. Now.
And now he's getting confused with Walter Brimley, diabetes, and Hamburger Eddie over here.
And
It's not a bad
See-
thing to get confused by, is it, Mr. Google?
I've been a Denver Broncos since I got back into watching football full time since I've been 10 or 11, and I've been a rough 8 years.
Since Peyton Manning.
Yeah, rough 8 years, rough 8, 9
Maybe
years.
Tim
There's
Tebow
promise
different.
now, though. There is promise now. I would say for the first time since he left,
Take
there
us
is.
to the promised land.
Oh boy, we got another right on the wall. Do you think? Oh, we're just gonna read it. Sacks and
Sack fumble on Arch Manning.
Yep, probably. Oh,
Georgia recovered. Sack fumble on Arch Manning, so he got sacked and fumbled because he's one man
ooh,
left.
I thought it was already halftime.
20-0. 20-0. So okay, and here's the thing: Arch Manning got thrown into a bad position,
Yeah,
right? And he's taken over, and they haven't had offense before him. So I mean, it's not like he's gonna get hurt too much more.
no,
But yeah, I mean, this Texas team is getting hit hard because they're finding out Georgia is, hey, we're gonna hit you hard.
Mhm.
I mean, yeah, Texas is doing great. Texas didn't play Alabama yet, did they?
no.
So they're finding out some big SEC competition because you
Yeah.
still got them. I mean, it's because
Yeah,
they beat Oklahoma, they beat some good teams, but they're finding out right. But
Yeah,
playing or at least playing them, maybe not beating them, but playing them, right?
Yep.
They beat Michigan, but
I mean,
Michigan
come on, why?
Michigan
Why?
and this.
Ouch.
We'll just transition right
Yeah.
now to the
Yeah, I was
NCAA.
gonna say,
Yeah, we can
we're
go to the
transition
NCAA.
in the
So
NCAA.
Michigan lost today.
Thank you for reminding me. by the way.
But Michigan's not
Sorry,
the
buddy.
team that they were last year.
I
Oh.
could have told you that before the season
We
started.
all could have told us that.
Yeah, no, they
But what
lost
I'm saying
everything
is-
in the draft and the coaching.
So Texas winning, we thought, okay, that's still a good win.
Mhm.
Is a big win now because Michigan is going to be dropping out of the top 25 because they were 24. If they were at least 17, they could stay because they only lost by 14. They had some turnovers and should have lost by more, but their defense did good.
Mhm.
Anybody
But
that wants to be a
Texas is
quarterback?
finding out SEC football right now.
If anybody wants to be a quarterback for Michigan next year, we'll take.
I mean,
anybody.
anyone can take them. I mean, you got no eligibility. I mean,
Might have to
me
take
and
a
Carl might try
cheerleader
out.
off the
I'm gonna try-
sideline
I'm
to
gonna
get
try-
their
I need
ball
to go
better.
to school for broadcasting. I guess I should be a commentator, so maybe I should go to
Right.
school for broadcasting.
Maybe.
And play some football while I'm at it at 35.
Um,
I mean, Cam Rising's doing it.
like I said
Um,
before, Alabama
uprising.
lost
Yeah,
again.
Uprising. But Texas is learning SEC football, right?
Oh yeah.
And I do this and I did this. Texas fans are doing this, and this is no shot on Mr. Google. We got caught in the hype of Texas. They're great. They look great. You put in Arch Manning for injured Cam Ewers or Quinn Ewers, not Cam Ewers because we talked about Cam Rising earlier, but Quinn Ewers, boom, doesn't miss a beat. So we're like, this team is great, but you're Georgia defense,
You know,
Georgia defense, Alabama defense, Tennessee, SEC is
It's
defense.
defense. Yep.
And we're showing that.
Yeah.
And you know who's loving this right now besides Georgia is Oregon, Ohio State,
Penn State,
Penn State. Also, Tennessee,
Alabama,
Tennessee, and
Tennessee. Because
Alabama.
Alabama, we're going to talk about that, but Alabama lost.
Again.
Again,
But they play Texas later. So
Oh,
that
yeah.
gets them up there.
Yeah. Do you think that Texas can beat them Texas do beat them and that's their third loss? Do they have a chance
If
to
Texas
be in-
beats Alabama, they don't have a chance.
to
No.
go to the playoffs?
No.
I don't think this
No.
loss today to
Because
Tennessee
you
hurts.
got to realize, Georgia, did Georgia lose this year?
Yeah, they lost
They
to
lost to
Alabama.
Alabama. Okay, so you got one loss Georgia. You got a one loss Tennessee. You'll probably have a one loss Texas, and you have a 2-loss Alabama right now. There's 3 teams. If Georgia wins, that's what I said, a one loss Texas, right?
Mhm.
Texas wins out. You put Alabama in because now you have a 1-loss Texas, say a 2-loss Tennessee, a 3-loss Alabama and a 1-loss Georgia. It's probably gonna be
Don't-
Georgia. It'll probably be Georgia's and Texas in the SEC. So those are still your 3 teams because you got 3-loss Alabama.
You can laugh
Right.
at me, but don't overlook A&M either. Or one loss.
A&M. Ole Miss, I think, only has 1 loss.
Yeah.
Ole Miss has got 2.
Ole Miss got 2. LSU
Mhm.
got 1 or 2 still.
I think they got 1.
But I'm just saying, you got all these 1 loss. Alabama has 3. They're not going.
Yeah.
Right. No.
And I mean,
It's-
defense is
A
really
3-loss team could make the playoffs,
This is-
but not in the SEC.
no.
'Cause you're not setting 4 teams in the SEC.
No.
Alabama fans are not gonna like this, but they're gonna have a down year where they're not gonna be like they used to be, and it's gonna be fun. to
But
watch.
we're only saying that because they have 2 losses now. If they beat Tennessee today, we're not saying they're having a down year.
No.
But I mean, looking at how competitive they've been against these teams like Vandy, they should not have lost to Vandy.
Dear God. Yeah, go ahead. Keep going. We
They
can look.
should have not lost to Vandy because last year's Alabama would have blown them out by 40. Then they barely won by 2 against South Carolina.
Okay.
And that
14 points off a turnover.
And again, I don't diss South Carolina. South Carolina's a good school, but
I mean, they just destroyed Oklahoma like 35-9.
exactly. But as an Alabama top tier school, they should have at least won by 2 to 3 possessions, like they usually done the past.
Oh, yeah,
years.
they're down.
Yeah.
We're not saying they're not down, but we're just saying that was just okay. They lost to Vandy, then they still got rocked to South Carolina, but if they won this game, they're back, right? They're back on track. We're saying they're down because they lost again.
I don't
Yeah.
think it's so much as that they're eliminated because you still have if this score, because this is what Alabama wants right now is Georgia beating Texas, because that
Right.
brings everybody down to 1 loss. Nobody in the SEC is undefeated anymore.
Right.
So they're wanting this to happen. Sorry, I know but
And
from their standpoint, that's what they want.
Yes.
Let's hold it. They can come back. But
They
right
could.
now, we're going off of right now. There won't be another undefeated. There's not. That was the last undefeated team in
SEC.
SEC was Texas.
Right.
I don't even know why. I knew that stat last week. I don't even know why I asked about
But there's
Georgia.
3 teams in the Big Ten that are undefeated, and that's Indiana, Penn State, and Oregon. Who would have thought that?
Who would have thought it was Indiana versus?
Who thought it would be
somebody else?
Indiana? I mean, I get Penn State and Oregon, but like Indiana.
Yeah,
But-
Hoosiers. They're not a
If you
basketball
would
school.
have told me right now,
And Army Navy is the last
If you were-
undefeated teams.
if you would have told me
BYU and Iowa State.
is
That's
that
all.
something you undefeated?
Army, Navy, BYU, Iowa State,
And Iowa State
Oregon,
is-
Penn
let me
State,
check
and
this one.
Indiana are the only undefeated teams left.
Now, if you would have blindfolded me the last few weeks ago, okay, who's undefeated in the Big Ten? There's 3 teams. I'm gonna tell you.
21,
I'm gonna tell you right
14,
now. Would not have thought it would have been Indiana versus Ohio State.
Mm-mm.
Ooh, Iowa State.
And they're
I
losing
had
21.
this game. I picked Iowa State.
You have a 21-14 deficit at halftime. UCF is beating, or as Google would say, UFC is beating Iowa State.
Now,
UCF.
now, while we talk college football, the Louisville game was a good game. Wisconsin won. My team won.
Oh, Miami is another undefeated. Sorry.
Yeah, Miami. Oh yeah, Miami. And it takes like 15 players, I guess, to tackle a player for Louisville.
That
Oh, yeah, they-
that
dragging
was
them
funny.
15
They
yards.
carried him in the end zone.
No, so we're gonna go back to the Army Navy undefeated, me being Navy, right?
Right.
So rivalry, we were talking about this earlier, meaning a lot with the New York Yankees and the Mets, the World Series and things like that.
All right.
I'm waiting for you to talk. It's
If-
your point.
If the Army and the Navy go undefeated, they always have the Army Navy game at the end of the season.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You keep that game. And it's always after the conference championship games. They're in the same conference. They're undefeated. They're going to play each other for the conference championship. You have to move their conference championship to the Army Navy game. Now just think of that. That's the Commander in Chief trophy. That's for the rivalry. That's for a spot in the playoffs. And that's for a conference championship. That will be the most meaningful game in Army Navy's history playing each other. That is crazy. Because they both played Notre Dame too.
yeah.
Navy Notre Dame next week. So we got
I like how the difference you told me about like Navy school. Like Navy used to be a running school, and now they're a passing school.
well, yeah, they for 50, 60 years they've been the triple option, which Army's still doing,
Yes.
but it hasn't worked the last few years for the Navy. So they got rid of their coach, and I think he's in like San Jose State or San Diego State, or he went somewhere over to the West Coast, and
Right.
he They brought in a new coach, and now they pass. And you got Horvat throwing, looking like Stahlback out there, where they're actually throwing. When that's probably the last time they did pass was with Stahlback when he won the Heisman. And it's going to be a great season for that. It's good. I hope. Yeah. Hey, sorry for you Notre Dame fans, but I really hope Army and Navy's undefeated when they play each other.
Oh, yeah.
Because you know what? It would be the best rivalry game in the history of any Army Navy game, and being Navy, obviously I'm cheering for Navy, but still, I think it'd be the greatest thing.
Right.
I mentioned that about a month ago on the podcast.
I forgot that they're even in the same conference. So now you got the conference championship, the playoff. It's a rivalry game. You got the commander in chief. You have so much on the line.
Yep. I'm just looking at
dodgeball. It's the last game of the season. You got to leave it all on the line.
See, Army beat East Carolina. I was looking at the stats. I thought it was really interesting. Bryson Daly, the quarterback of Army, threw 147 yards and a touchdown. Not bad. On the ground, he ran for 171 yards and 5 touchdowns.
Yeah, because that's what
the Army does.
That's what the military academies do or been doing. Navy's changing that, which is why I think they have a better chance of beating Notre Dame, because you don't know what they're doing. Right. Notre Dame can prepare for the run all day, but Army shows they can kind of pass too if they need to.
Right.
Jenny says her Hawks are down.
Iowa Hawkeyes, I guess.
Yeah, they're playing Michigan State, so I don't remember the score.
Oh man, I'm so sad.
Oh boy.
Cyclones are down by 7.
Yep. LSU's beating Arkansas. MSU is winning. So, yeah. What'd you think? You brought this up to me earlier. You liked how Colorado was playing today against Arizona. I know that's a top 25 game, but we were watching that with a bunch of other games going on with Michigan.
Yes,
you really liked how the defensive line played this game.
Yes, because of how shooting the ball snap, they were right in Fafita's, the Arizona quarterback Fafita's face.
I was gonna say fajita.
I was hoping he'd say it
because we were saying it all day.
Not Fafita.
Right.
And as soon as they snapped the ball, he had pressure right in his face. And what they've been doing, if you looked at last year's Colorado's defense and this year's Colorado defense, it's night and day.
Warren Sapp.
How positive coaching can do.
Warren Sapp.
Yeah. Warren Sapp helped coaching the D-line.
Not only coaching, showing.
Oh, yeah, showing.
There's a difference between coaching and let me show you because I want a better defense lineman.
Oh, right. Yeah. Yeah, Warren Sapp goes in that D-line, and I watched that D-line as soon as, they, beating the offensive line off the ball. It's incredible to watch. And, to see him, I think Fafita was sacked 6-7 times that game.
7. It was their most they've sacked a quarter because they came in with 6 sacks and they left with 13.
Yeah. They got more in this game than they had all season.
Yes.
Yeah.
So does that say more about Colorado's defensive line or more about offensive line for Arizona?
Both.
I think it says more about Arizona because you had 6 all season and you allow 7 in one game. That's That's a horrible offensive line.
Also comes down, yes, you could be a battle line. It also comes down to technique. Technique always beats speed in that.
You know what also comes down to? How great these preseason rankings are. As you were saying earlier, the Big 12 has switched from what they thought they were. The people that they said were going to be on the bottom are at the top, and the people at the top are at the bottom.
Right. Yep.
I mean, Kansas State's losing. I mean, it's just
Oklahoma State, BYU is leading it. Iowa State, Colorado.
Who would have thought the Mormons?
Yep.
It looks like the Rangers are going to win 3-1.
I thought Toronto. Yeah, that's right.
Against Toronto. Yeah, there's 53 seconds left in the game.
I would hope.
Thought the Mormons being undefeated this year.
So is there any more NCAA we want to get into? Any more things that happened? I kind of want to talk about College Game Day and how Pat McAfee did it again.
Say it.
So, College Game Day, I want to throw this out there real quick. If anyone hasn't noticed yet, Pat McAfee is such a national treasure. This dude has Texas singing West Virginia's country roads and everything. But the most important thing is Scotty Scheffler was the guest picker on College Game Day. And we all know he got arrested in Louisville during the Masters. So the Miami-Louisville game came on. They all picked Miami. Obviously, we know why Scotty did. Here comes Kirk Herbstreit going, I think Louisville's going to win. Pat McAfee goes, oh, so did you condone him getting arrested? And then they started talking about how he fell in the cell and everything. I was just looking at a wall waiting to be released. I'm like, Like how? How does Pat McAfee go? Oh, you condone him getting arrested, and then they talk about him getting arrested.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
He's just having fun.
It's great.
Oh, yeah.
They all were like Texas gear. Nick Saban had a personality flipping the coin, going, "I'm gonna flip a coin for the game." Texas, but didn't tell who was heads or tails. He just picked Texas.
And they're kind of looking like idiots now, aren't they? 23.
Yeah, pretty much because everyone picked Texas,
Texas,
and that's
yeah.
why I was like, "Oh crap, Georgia's gonna win." Because everyone picked Texas.
Yeah,
I
that was
picked Texas.
everywhere.
They all picked Texas. I
Everyone-
think America was a pick in Texas.
Everybody I talked to, work, social media, nobody said Georgia. I even had a Georgia fan says, "I don't think we're going to win. We need to keep it close." Well,
Yeah.
No, you just need defense to play. That's all
Yeah.
you need.
Oh, yeah.
So speaking of picks, should we go into our picks?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
we're getting better at this.
Oh, yeah, we are.
It only took 15 episodes and 30 some hours of content.
Oh, yeah.
So
Our
right now the
blood,
pick
sweat, and
standings again for all the college football and the games we pick up until about the bowl games, unless
So, do you want to mention the new format? I thought that was something.
yeah, we're gonna mention that too.
Okay.
So the loser is gonna have to do a punishment out of us, whatever the
Yeah,
rankings
so-
are. So
not being an ass.
so the new format
Z?
we have is the new format for picks that we have here.
Sorry, time out. Sorry. He wrote 2-0 on the board and it looks like a Z. Sorry.
I'm like, Z to nothing?
So
Sorry, go
that's
ahead.
fine. So the loser's gonna have to do a punishment in the picks, just like we do for our fantasy. The loser of us three. So the new format is we're still doing the NFL the same. The primetime games. This week's a little bit different, and then this time, Mr. Google's picking our college games. We used to send him 3 games each. He'd do a generator, but now he's just generating games. Period, because some of the games we pick are going on late, and he kind of wants it to be. And I agree with this, where the games are pretty much over
Earlier.
when we come on, so we know the rankings.
And every time slot has a big game, so that's
Right, and I
perfect.
mean, what we
No,
were
it
gonna
is.
do is, and we still might do this, but next week they haven't picked college game day.
Yeah, I
yet.
just looked. I haven't seen anything on
and
that.
we think it's gonna be Notre Dame Navy, but we don't know, so we're not gonna make that our one pick together,
Right,
because college game day would be the one that we had together, and then we'd have 2 different ones.
right.
So this week, what we did is we were gonna skip the London game. 2 1-5 teams, we're just gonna skip it because who cares?
But we actually have an extra Monday night game this
But
week.
because we have an extra Monday night game, we were going to skip the London. But we did the London game and forego the college game day. So we still have 2 different colleges and stuff like that for this week.
Ooh.
Yeah, I like London Bowl.
Trumpet.
So with that being
Hi,
said,
Mrs. Delpo. Hey there.
right now,
This is
right now the rankings, not including the Texas game, not including the I could actually put the Tennessee because they did win. So Jake is 25-18 with the Tennessee win. I'm 27-16, and Carl's 23-20. You're above 500, man. You've gotten a hot hand lately.
I know. I've got like
Because
6
I
in a
remember
row.
you were down by like 5, and now you're right up there. So
Thanks for Harvard Holy Cross, by the way.
You're welcome.
not so fast, midget.
Not so fast, midget. I picked Harvard. They won by 1. I don't care how
If
you
we're
do
still
it. You
picking
win.
our own games. I really wanted to wait until Harvard plays Yale so you can just pick.
I'm gonna pick
And
that
that-
game. I want
maybe-
that game
maybe
in there. Is
that-
that all right? It's
maybe-
at the end of the season.
Maybe that's the game he gives us all, and just goes, you know what? I'm just gonna throw a random game in there and give you guys all that, because we're not always gonna have 2
No.
Monday night games, a
Yale
London
versus
game, a
Harvard.
third. We're gonna go back to 3 games: Monday, Sunday, and Thursday.
It's rivalry week that week, so you could pick any rivalry game, and no matter what the records are, they're gonna play hard against each other because they hate the other team.
Oh yeah.
Listen, Wisconsin, Minnesota don't play hard.
Well, we're not beating Ohio State, so that winning streak ended.
Yeah, probably not this year.
Not this year, no.
No.
So-
Find a quarterback in your
Unless the
stands.
quarterback slides before at the end of the game.
Unless you find
Oh,
a quarterback
oh,
on your
oh,
cheerleading squad.
I didn't talk about that. We got to
You're
talk
welcome.
about that real quick. So before we get
Did you
into the
hear
picks,
this? Listen to this.
the NCAA, that slide at the end of the game, people were saying Oregon did that on purpose. I think even the Oregon coach kind of said, yeah, it was kind of on purpose, but didn't really say it was on purpose, right? Because you'd probably get penalized for that. Who knows? He said we slid because what happens is it lost 4 seconds. Clock doesn't go back. So they lost 4 seconds. That's precious to Ohio State because they purposely put a 12-man on the field. Like he just kind of like snuck on the field. I think they did tell him. Well, NCAA made a rule now. That clock goes back to what it was in the game clock. So it would have gone back to 10 seconds if they would have had that before. It's enforced immediately.
Yep.
So now you do that now this week. Say Georgia does it now. They're losing. It will go back to that 10 seconds and they get that time back and the 5-yard penalty.
Mm-hmm.
That to me just shows how they exposed the loophole, and NCAA was like, whoa, we got to change this.
That's the thing.
Do you think that's going to happen in the NFL where they're going to start doing the same thing? I mean, you don't see it in the NFL.
I think you don't see it in the NFL because the owners have to approve on rule changes. That's why you have the owners meeting.
Well, that's why they don't do it immediately.
Yeah,
but
you have to wait till the offseason.
Do you think
to do
because of what happened in college, maybe the owners are going to look at it and go, wait, we don't want that to happen to us?
Yeah, probably.
Because they don't do that in the NFL either. They don't put the time back.
Jerry Jones is going to approve of the rule change. He needs all the help he can get.
He needs that extra 4 seconds.
He needs that extra 4 seconds.
But in the NFL, it's the same thing. They don't put the time back on the clock.
No, they don't.
Do you think they're going to change the rules?
They could.
Pickett fake slide. Like as soon as he did
We
that
brought
in a game,
today.
NCAA was like, "Oh no, you can't do that. That's illegal."
Exactly.
You're able to make the rule changes on the fly because of college because you don't have owners that are right there to. Oh wait a minute, we don't want that yet.
NCAA is a dictatorship. They do what they want.
Pretty much.
But do you think you're going to see that in the NFL where they go, wait, we got to look at this now?
Yeah.
Well, if they're going to do it, they should have did it years ago when that pass interference call against the Saints.
Well, they did
in the Rams. Yeah, they waited till the offseason. They didn't change it before the Super Bowl.
Well, no, because they're not going to. They can't.
Yeah.
But I'm saying is,
but that would
in
be
the
the time
offseason,
to do
are they
it.
going to look at this rule? Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, they could.
Because here's the thing. They're going to start looking and go, hey, we could do this loophole. You're going to, like a Belichick would do the loophole.
Yeah.
And they've done it before for other stuff. Like, we're just going to take delay of games for like 3 or 4 times before we get a real big penalty or fine or whatever. Like Belichick and other people have done.
So are you asking the
loopholes.
loophole or are you asking the rule change mid-season? That's what I'm confused about now.
No, I'm saying because they rule changed mid-season and found the loophole, right?
Yeah.
And that's an important play and everything. That's great. But do you think the NFL is going to look at it and go, we need to change some of the rules?
Yeah, I'd like to because then you reverse that Calvin Johnson play from 12 years ago that cost them that opening win against Chicago. That could have been switched on the fly. That could have been switched that following Monday.
Right.
And that would have saved, Dallas from getting that non-catching against Des Bryant. I know we all have our opinions on that. But look at the catch rule. You could have switched that mid-season, and you would have probably had different outcomes in different games later in that year or in years to come.
So, all right. I just want to bring that up. I totally forgot
good.
because, time's going by fast today.
Yeah. But that's the thing. Like, you could see that. They'd be like, well, if there is a big uproar about it, I will say that probably the owners will say we need to do something now and maybe call like an emergency meeting. Maybe
if there's a game that's going to be.
Yes. If there's a game, like
there's
a
huge game where they do this loophole, 12-man or whatever. Yeah, you're going to see it like, hey, we need to change it now because that affected the game immediately. So back to the picks. That was a great. Oh shoot, let me go back there. New England and Jacksonville's tomorrow's morning game. Battle of 1 and 5s. Right. We're all excited about this one.
Combined record of 2 and 10.
Now,
yeah, baby.
Now they are both 1 and 5. Drake May is starting, and Jacksonville has some problems.
Mm-hmm.
But they stayed in New England. They stayed in England longer. And they're 6-point favorites.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's going to change your guys' pick if you already made the pick. I went with New England. Drake May last week started 3 touchdowns, looked good. Now, granted, it's another week. He had to travel. So hasn't Caleb Williams, but he had more games under his belt. And Jacksonville didn't have to travel. So, but I'm still picking New England because it's a 6-point favorite. And I saw on ESPN was 6. Because it was 6, now 5.5. We are giving it the double point rule because they are that's a big underdog. 5 is a big underdog in the NFL.
Yeah.
So that's a 2-point game if I win. If I lose, it's 1 point loss. So
just a loss. Yeah.
Who are you guys picking?
I am because of Jacksonville hasn't shown me that they want to win, and New England showed me they want to win. They just haven't had the right pieces. I'm going with New England.
I just want to bring this up. How fitting is it that New England is playing in London? Like, I just thought that was funny. How about that?
All right, man.
New England's playing it. It's like the old versus new.
All right, Joe Madden or John Madden.
Joe Madden.
He said the old versus the new.
Give me the Patriots. I'm sorry. I agree. Drake May showed me a lot more. I don't know what Jacksonville's problem is. I talked
Jacksonville's a dumpster fire.
I mentioned this before during the year.
Worse than the Cowboys.
Mentioned this during the week to a Jaguars fan. He thought Doug Peterson should have been fired by now.
And here's another reason why I picked New England. Gerard Mayo is a great defensive player.
He's got to play.
It's a great defensive team. They've been doing good on defense, and he has the Belichick way. So they still have the Belichick way with him, and they're just a good defense.
Yeah. And then if we're, I didn't pick New England because of the point rule because I
you didn't know that, and I didn't really know it until I was like, wait, let me see. I do remember a couple of these games being a big point.
How the hell is Jacksonville favored?
By 6.
By 6.
5.5 to 6.
How?
Maybe 2, maybe 3. But how do you go that bad?
Why
They're both bad. They're both
why
bad
is it
teams.
dumpster fire? We call it NFL team favorite.
Look, you can polish a turd, it's still a turd, okay?
Yes.
Exactly.
I guess.
I mean, they gave up 41 to Houston, but they scored a lot last
after
week.
Drake May threw for 3 touchdowns in his debut.
Yep.
So
the Sunday night game,
which is the Jets
and the Steelers. Oh boy.
So
Turn
Russell Wilson,
every now and then,
not Justin Fields.
Here we go.
Devontae Adams is back. But it's also the Steelers defensive line.
Yep.
Only because it's for Devontae's first game, I think they connect well. I think either him or Wilson's going to do well. And I think it's a show-out game to trade Wilson, maybe. But I have the Jets only because teams haven't had enough time to prepare for Devontae and Garrett Wilson, but they had enough time to at least prepare for the Steelers defense.
Okay.
That's the only reason I picked the Jets. And I think the spread on this was like 2.5, 3. It's not one. Yeah.
To me, yeah, it'd be a good thing to go
And we
with the
don't pick
Jets.
against the spread, by the way.
No,
We're
no,
just
we
putting
don't.
that to show you how
Straight
close
picks.
they
But
they
I'm
talk
going with my gut. I think Pittsburgh's defense can hold out. I'm gonna go with Pittsburgh.
Okay. And that's again toss up, flip a coin.
Not so fast, midget. Going Pittsburgh.
I'm the midget. And this one,
Well,
I'm
you
the-
are I was gonna say the shortest out of the 3, but I don't know.
Do I have to say why I'm going with Pittsburgh or just
no,
which you want?
because the Jets are dumped to fire.
What you like to know? Defense.
And that's the
Same thing
and
I
that's
said.
why it was so hard for me to pick it. But then I just thought about it. They didn't have enough time to prepare for Devontae and how that scheme's gonna look. And that's the only reason I picked the Jets.
And even if Russell Wilson comes out crap in the bed and they're down like 10-0, I still think Fields can come back and win the game for them.
Oh yeah.
I'm thinking Fields is gonna win in a shootout. So if they crap the bed, I think they lost.
I just don't think they're Jets could be on the same page that quickly. I know Devontae will, but yeah,
Right.
So then we got the first of the Monday night games,
which is a good one.
we're talking about the Baltimore one, right?
Yes.
Okay, I didn't know because I didn't know which one was first. This is the first one I wrote down was the Baltimore one.
Good game. Good game. This is
So
beauty.
the Baltimore and the Buccaneers. This is on ESPN right now. It says 3.5. I don't know what his is. 3.5. Okay, because I see the Baltimore. Yes, I picked the Ravens. Derrick Henry. Do I need to go further? Derrick Henry,
You could have said Lamar Jackson. I would
Lamar
agree with that.
Jackson, right? The
Yeah.
passing, but I think Derrick Henry. That defense is still pretty good. I'm going to go with Baltimore.
I agree with you, but I also think that the Buccaneers showed last week, or last time they played, is that they can go tough, they can be tough, and they can high score. I'm going with the Buccaneers.
Ravens can high score.
Can't score.
I said they can high score.
Scored 50.
Derrick Henry
fucking
can run for 200 yards. Okay.
They scored 51, and I mean Baker went 4 for 3, but hey, he still managed to win.
Yeah. Should I do it? Fuck it, Ravens.
Should I do it? Yeah. Forget. We passed that 2-minute mark.
Yeah, we passed the 2-minute mark. Just because when you run the ball as good as they do, you control the clock, you wear down the defense. I'm not saying Tampa can't score. I think this is going to be like a 35-31 win.
But when you get to ball like 7 minutes left to go in the game, you got Derrick Henry, you got Justice Hill. You can run the ball.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
But
Plus, also my tight ends, Isaiah Likely.
Shefty has just reported 20 minutes ago that Tua is expected to practice next week to play in week 9.
Nice.
Nice.
I
Tua's
heard he's
coming back.
supposed to be back by week.
How's my brain look,
that's
doctor?
That's a good game to come back at.
Yeah.
It's the Cardinals.
Yeah, even though his
How's my brain
is,
look,
like,
doctor?
scrambled eggs right now.
Looks
Hey,
yummy.
you guys.
All right.
Anyway,
Let's just not knock on it. It was
The-
a cartoon that came out. It was fun.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Charger, yeah.
His brain is like scrambled eggs.
Chargers and the Cardinals. I got the Bolts. Give me the Bolts.
Yeah, I give him Chargers.
Chargers.
I mean, Arizona. You don't.
They whipped up against my Broncos. They showed that they can.
Now,
beat teams
But
with the
is
ball.
Marvin Harrison Jr. healthy?
he's he's supposed to play. I mean, I thank you for that, by the way. He's supposed to, because I get updates on him now. But he's active. But I don't know how healthy he'll be.
I mean, wasn't he healthy against the Packers?
Did you guys pick on the Bucks?
What?
Did y'all pick on the Bucks?
Yeah, Ravens.
Bucks.
2 Ravens and 1 Bucks.
Only one that picked the Bucks.
And then now we're just gonna skip that. We all said the Chargers, right?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
But now
And I just say that because I mean the Packers did well of keeping Marvin Harrison. It can be done. Chargers got a good defense. I think Bosa can get after the quarterback really well. That's why I picked the
But-
Chargers.
historically, these games that the Chargers face in prime time on the West Coast, they're about mediocre historically. But now, new head coach, coaching Justin Herbert. I'm pulling for the Chargers.
All
and-
right, so we got.
I think Kyler Murray's mind's on Call of Duty.
Huh?
I think Kyler.
Oh, did it get released recently too?
No, it's getting ready next month.
I thought it was in October.
All right, do we got our college picks now?
No,
We
Thursday
got
night- Thursday night game.
Thursday
Oh,
night
yeah,
football.
Thursday
Come
night.
on now. It is the Vikings and the Rams. Now don't fall for the 1-4 Rams because Cooper Kupp is back. Right? So just imagine it's Cooper Kupp being back. And Puka might be back for that game.
I thought Puka comes back in
Oh
November.
no, he ain't gonna be back for that game anyway. It's a short week, so he wouldn't be back. So with that being said, don't fall for the 1-4 Rams. Yeah, I'm going for the Vikings. They're undefeated. They got a great defense. Justin Jefferson,
Yeah.
Aaron
Vikings.
Jones. They just picked up Cam Akers.
I'm going with the Vikings.
Vikings, huh?
It's the obvious pick. They're the well-rounded team. They're well.
I don't think it's an obvious pick. I think this is one of those trap games for
I didn't mean
Minnesota.
this. I
It's a
didn't mean
short
to say
week.
it was the well
Coming up
obvious
against-
pick because you can't overlook a team. Because as soon as you overlook a team, that's when the headlines are made, articles are written about you.
Good. This is actually a favorable stretch here tomorrow and Thursday for the Rams because they got the Raiders coming into town. Then they get Minnesota on a short week, who's probably going to get beat up a little by the Detroit Lions. Screw that. I'm taking the Vikings.
Right.
Show up like Dallas,
See, but that's the reason why I said it could be a trap game, right?
Yeah.
They play the Lions, and then you got to go and play the Rams. And the Rams aren't a push-up. They're still good defensively and everything like that. It's just Sam Darnold right now is playing lights out, MVP style.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you got to
Comeback
go
player
with
of
that.
the year. We mentioned it last week.
All right,
What do you got?
Jenny says Vikings with 8 exclamation points and a report.
Jenny's a Vikings fan.
He's a Dolphins fan, but I guess he's rooting for the Vikings.
Jenny.
Jenny's a Vikings fan. No, I'm Pat.
Jenny.
Jenny.
Jen
We have to
I
say
like
like
the
that.
Vikings, Jenny. Sorry.
We have to say it like that, so that way we don't get confused with Jay.
Oh, Jay. Okay, I'm sorry.
Jenny, and then Jen.
Sorry, I
Jay.
didn't mean to butcher your name. Sorry to compare you to.
So
a
now we're
character
gonna
who
go
died
to
of
our
AIDS.
college fast, okay, or college games.
Okay.
I was gonna say not so fast midget.
First off, I am too small. I'm too big to be a midget.
23-7 or 8.
23-8.
Arch Manning, 3 possessions, 3 2-point conversions. Oh, they did. So they woke
They
up.
just gave him a break from getting beat up.
I like how he circles over the circle and makes it 2.
See, they just went, hey, you got
Put
beat up.
little-
Harder,
Harder,
not harder.
Go get rest
Two
for the
little
second
dots
half.
in the middle.
So what they did was just say he probably got hurt a little bit on the play, and then they pulled him just till the end of the half. It was almost done.
1914, Michigan State beat Iowa.
Okay.
So that was an update from Jenny's game.
Yes.
I'm looking at other games.
All right, who wants to go first?
For college,
Yeah.
I'll go first.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with one of my games. We're gonna do both games, or we're just gonna do one
Why
and
don't
then
you
go
do
one?
both games and go?
Okay, so the first game I'm gonna do is Oregon and Illinois. Good game, good matchup. I don't care what Illinois did. I'm going with Oregon. what they did with Ohio State is more impressive than what Illinois did with Michigan.
Yep.
By far, right?
All right.
I mean, this time they don't have that. Like I said, they don't have that loophole. They can't do that. But I think their offense.
I don't
is still,
think they need it.
I think their offense is still too powerful.
This is one of those things that get back to that Oregon Ohio State thing that you do know, of course, if Ohio State pulls that in Columbus, nobody does anything about it. It's because Oregon did it in Eugene and Ohio State lost.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Oh yeah, probably.
And then my other college game, Notre Dame and Navy. I got. We all know.
Fighting Irish. Do, do,
Yeah.
do.
Yeah, whatever there is, right? Yeah.
Give me
Yes.
Navy.
Not so fast midget to that leprechaun, okay? Anchors away all day. I'm going
glad-
Navy midshipman.
I was hoping you'd pick up on that.
Not so fast. That little midget,
Yeah.
little leprechaun. He can go back and go haunt Jennifer Aniston again in Leprechaun the movie. All right, Hornswoggle could go back under the damn ring and be the Raw GM again. It's gonna be anchors away all day, every day. Anchors away, my boy, Navy.
All right.
There is no swindling in that one.
Nope.
All right, Jake, who do you have?
So far, I have first game is LSU and Texas A&M.
Ooh.
That's a good one.
It is. I'm gonna go with my gut, and LSU is playing lights out football ever since they lost. I think I'm gonna go with the Tigers.
Hawk Tua.
What? Why not A&M though? A&M's 6-1. No, I'm just throwing that point out there. That's
Yes, A&M's been 6-1, but also like going with history with that, LSU's always been one of those top teams.
all. No, I agree. I mean,
Yeah.
you could have made a case for either one,
Yes.
and I would have been okay.
I'm going with my gut, and my gut is saying LSU. I think LSU would win. It's going to be. I'm not saying LSU blows them out. I'm saying it's going to be a close game.
Yep.
And my second game is Utah and Houston.
Ooh,
Utah and Houston.
Yeah, Utah, Utes, and Houston.
Wait. Oh, I was thinking you say BYU in Houston. I was like the Cougars and the Cougars.
You get the got an infamous match.
Do I have to pick
Utah,
one of these?
Yes.
Utah Jazz and the Houston
Are you going to
Rockets
pick
from back in
the
the day.
soon-to-be eighth-year starter Cam Rising, even though I don't think he's playing? That's why he could be an eighth-year starter and get a
No, I
PhD
don't
before he
want-
graduates.
I don't want to pick this game, Mr. Google. I haven't spoken.
The hat has spoken.
If I really have to pick a winner, which I don't, the 2-5 team against it's Utah.
2-2.
I'm gonna go Utah. God,
It's the Utes. That's
I-
a good pick.
no reason, just give me Utah.
Well, yeah. Well, the thing is, and I said this to Zach too. Utah will go on a stretch run. Well, they'll start off like, oh, they're going to be one of the best teams in the conference. Then they have like a
Stan Chalmers.
so. Yeah, I just told him to update it.
2-2.
2-2. So
You
Utah,
went
That's why he
2-2?
said 2-2.
that's why I said 2-2.
You went 2-2.
No, but don't you have a receiver on your team named Tutu Atwell?
That's LA Rams.
I thought you used to play on
I
the.
don't know.
On my fantasy team, yeah.
Yeah,
Does he wear a 2-2?
I don't know, maybe.
Right.
I'll
But
wear
anyway,
one later.
Utah, yeah, they go on.
They
a
go on a
thing where
stretch run where they go like 5-6-0. Then they'll go on a 3-game run where they look like dog shit. And they come back and win the conference.
and then they'll beat Caleb Williams.
yeah,
And he'll
I don't
say
know
F
how.
Utah again.
Yeah, I'm going with Utah just with my gut, and Houston looks like dog water, so
Yeah.
I'm going with Houston. I'm going with Utah.
Oh, good.
All right.
I mean, that's a good pick.
No, I like it. Go ahead.
The toughest game I had was LSU and Texas A&M. I'm like, I'll just go with LSU.
Not so fast.
It's just a LSU.
I'd pick A&M on that one, but that's me. But that's you. Still a good
My
pick.
opinion, my
Again,
gut
flip
is
of the-
saying the Tigers because they're strong. They've been on a roll.
A
since-
tiger could destroy an Aggie any day. Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
not based on the mascots, but okay. Carl, your turn. Move
Could
on.
you beat a cougar?
And he says our whole state is losing.
Oh man, that's
Yeah,
That's,
Iowa State are both losing.
I mean, I'm cheering for Iowa
I
State.
like to go after
Right.
Cougars.
Iowa State's close.
Was it 28-21 still? And then Iowa's losing 19-14 to Michigan State.
You don't like what I said?
No, you see to go after Cougars.
Which one's Houston or BYU?
Why you say that to me, freak?
Ew.
All right.
My game, first game I have up is Oklahoma and Ole Miss. Do I really? Really? We're doing the Miss thing.
Are you really?
Really?
Really? Are you picking the Daniel Tosh Wish version or the Lane Kiffin Wish?
I don't know.
Because you know Daniel Tosh looks like Lane Kiffin.
Oh yeah.
Was
Yeah.
he direct TV or cable? Lane Kiffin. Remember those commercials?
Yes.
I took Ole Miss.
Ole Miss, the
Oklahoma
Rebs.
can't get it figured out, and
They haven't figured it out since Deacon Crowley left.
they haven't, and I was just gonna say they're probably gonna make a coaching change.
Yeah,
It just doesn't look at all like they're.
I mean, they just
I know
got
Google
below-
doesn't want him to make a coaching change.
I understand, right? They lost to Texas, right?
Yeah.
But you got blown out. And then South Carolina's not a pushover.
No.
You got blown out. They were in Norman, I think.
Yeah, they had 2 defensive touchdowns in the first quarter. It was 21-0.
They were blown out by South Carolina in Norman.
Yes.
You can't have that happen.
No. And so I've taken Ole Miss, and Ole Miss is playing in Mississippi. So that's. And then my next game is SMU versus Duke, who finally last night, for the first time in program history in football, they beat Florida State.
Well, their starting quarterback Hawkins threw 2 picks.
Everybody's
Except the one team.
California, who took Miami to the limit. Figure that one out.
Good Golden
What was
Bears.
your second
Good.
game?
My second game is SMU versus Duke. I'm taking the Mustangs. I think it's going to be SMU, Clemson, or Miami in the ACC.
Fun fact, by the way.
Southern Methodist University out of
We-
Dallas.
Dallas, yeah, been through, that area. I don't think I've actually been through the campus, but at least I've seen signs for Uber. So that's how I've been through it. So we all drove a Mustang at one point.
Yep.
Just point that out.
We drove the same one.
Same one, and I had a different one.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I tried flying the Mustang.
You didn't have to bring that up. You know that, right?
Did you
That
find
just
out they
brings
don't
up-
fly?
Mustangs don't fly. They glide.
Okay.
Not
okay,
yet.
Okay, so it didn't fly well. It flew like a
It
boulder.
was like, wee.
You know why? Because I tried flying and it didn't work.
So,
it had an aerodynamics of a boulder. Okay.
so SMU, yeah, Duke, like you said, Duke beat Florida State. Florida State's 1-6.
Like this.
They got to make a coaching change.
Oh yeah.
They're gonna, yeah, because
Hilarious. We're talking about preseason rankings, and Florida State's up there, like, oh, they top 5 and done.
Yeah, bottom 5.
Done.
What,
In
another
the
touchdown,
toilet.
Georgia? What?
Texas kill themselves at home.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, that's
I
always
didn't even know if
gonna
he was
kill, too.
watching the game or not.
All right.
But yeah, I took SMU over Duke. I think that's going to be a good game. I think Duke's feisty.
Mhm.
They're just, I don't think they're up to the talent level as SMU. And if you'd have gave me that matchup before the season, I probably would have went Duke.
Right. So
Yeah.
so those are our picks. You
Yep.
heard what our rankings are: 27-16, 25-18, 23-20. So this is for entertainment purposes only, but you can use them to bet if you want, but don't take us at our word.
Nope.
So that
Remember, y'all don't pick against the,
yeah, we're not picking against the spread. I wanted to throw that out there. So if you wanted to take our picks, that is cool. But we're the only time we ever look at the spread is just to see if it's the double-digit favorite for college, or if
Right.
it's like a 5-point plus in NFL. Because when it's 5-point plus, it's almost a guaranteed.
Right.
You know, oh, that team's a big underdog. So again, entertainment purposes only. I know on Fox Sports, the one guy says it's not for entertainment purposes only because of sports betting, but I don't want to get sued. So it's for entertainment purposes only.
For
Don't
what
sue
money?
me for making your poor financial decisions, because I don't make good financial decisions myself.
I don't think any of us do.
Are we ready for that cold take?
Cold take, cold
There, I
take.
get to read the cold take.
It's
this
cold
week.
Alright.
in here.
This is actually pretty cool. If you could sit down with 3 historical people, who would they be and why? And a bonus, what would you talk to them about?
How historical?
You got to ask.
Dead?
Obviously.
Okay.
They're in history. Oh,
Adolf Hitler.
Oh, no. We've got to turn this off.
okay.
No.
Kill the stream.
Kill the
So
stream.
him only. I want to find out why he thought the way he did. That's it.
Yeah. Okay, I can see that.
That's it.
Well, good save. Good
Right.
save.
But, I mean, his conversation is different than everyone, right? His is why? Why was this your plan? What made this better than everybody else?
Did you read Mein Kampf?
Huh?
Did you read Mein Kampf?
No.
That's literally how he said he was going to do it.
That's
Right?
legit. If they would have read it
Not
down
how,
before,
but why he thought
everything
it.
happened.
He
It
said
does
how.
discuss why.
He did it. We said
How and why, right? Doesn't it? How and why? Or, I know it's how.
But I want it from his mouth to my ears, right?
You're not going to understand him. You need an interpreter. He spoke German.
Okay, well, in this case, I'm speaking of Hitler. I speak German too, okay?
You might need an interpreter or Google Translate.
We got a Ouija board. We can figure it out.
Two more. Who are the other two?
I want to sit by with Lincoln.
What?
Lincoln, I want to
Abraham?
Abraham Lincoln. I want to sit there and I want to go over pretty much one, why, the whole slavery thing, right? What was his thoughts when he was growing up and everything like that? Because what did he always think they should be free?
Right.
Did he think later on in life? Like, did he always have this revolutionary thought that most people didn't have?
Right.
I kind of want to just pick his brain on his whole political thing when things were going. Obviously, you can't tell him don't go to the theater.
Yeah. Don't. Yeah. Oof. Still too soon. 100 and some odd years later. 100 about almost 160, isn't it? About that. You would know off the top of your head, research guy. I think
He
it's like
died in 1865, so roughly around 150.
51. No, I don't know.
And then another person,
9 years.
Yeah.
and being Catholic, you was shocked that I probably wouldn't say Jesus or something like that. But you know what? That's a little bit different for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be great to go back and talk and everything like that. But it's a little bit different, right?
Yeah.
Going back in time and stuff. I could talk to Jesus up there and everything like that. I would want to talk to JFK.
Yeah.
Again,
I like that one.
more like, hey, your thoughts, your theories, this, and this, because he was assassinated. What else would he had planned and stuff like that? What else was he going to think to revolutionize the country and what's going to go on?
Him and I have literally had up until 3 a.m. talking about just JFK alone.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Just
So
just
would
his
JFK
thoughts.
be one of your guys too?
Well, now that you said it, we'll probably have to change.
You don't have to change.
No, but like
This is just off the top of the head,
Right.
and it's like I put Hitler also on there to think of other people, but JFK to me, it's just he was so young, right? He had different ideas, different this. Like, did he think the government was trying to kill him? Even did he ever thought maybe that was going across his mind that someone might want to kill him?
well,
Like,
there was
a lot of stuff that we know now about him kind of bring it to his attention about like not, oh, you're gonna die. Like, did you
Hitler, right? Hitler?
It-
We're still on Hitler or Lincoln?
No,
Or JFK.
JFK gets shot, right?
JFK. Okay.
Like, not go back in time, but like bring him back to life. Like, hey, did you think you were gonna die? Did you think this was gonna happen? Did you? So that way you don't tip him off if he's gonna die. But that's what I want to know.
I think if you were to, let's just say you bring him from the dead and you have a conversation with him, let's say it's like over dinner, and then he goes back to the afterlife or whatever. I know we're getting weird, but like I think at some point he thought he was probably going to, because I mean you don't ever want to think that, but like it's a direct shot into his head, so that obviously it's deliberate, but like just to me, like I think he knew. But I think he may. You don't know if there was plans in place. Like obviously back then they still separated everybody, but like vice president, president. I'm talking Lyndon Johnson and John F. Kennedy. Obviously they weren't there at the same spot in case they get both taken out. Oh shit, who's our president? So I want to say that he did. Speaker of the House. I know Speaker of the House is next, but
I mean, you saw you probably
No, I agree with you on
yeah.
that. No, there's no question.
So you talk about separate this, and this. I mean, you've seen that show or heard about the show Designated Survivor.
Mhm.
How that's based on kind of like a not true story, but what really happens is when they all have these meetings, one person of the whole cabinet, it could be like the dang
Highway freaking.
highway patrol, whatever.
Yeah, he was literally
guy.
the lowest man on the totem pole in the cabinet.
Right on the Designated Survivor.
Yeah.
It's not always the lowest man, but it's not someone super high, but it's
Right.
just someone else to put
In the
aside and go,
cabinet.
hey, you have a political experience. You're going to be in charge if everyone dies at this meeting right now.
Yep. And by the way, Kiefer Sutherland, great actor.
It was a good.
It was a good show.
Like the 10 episodes I think I saw until someone lost interest and I stopped watching because whoever I was with lost interest.
Right. So where's your 3? I'm really interested to hear what your 3
Okay,
are.
so my first
Macho
one,
Man.
Okay, I see. My first one is because.
Very close to you. There you go.
Okay, so my first one is because I was very into early American history, and I like to
Helen Keller. Good luck communicating.
I know,
the first episode. That's why I'm laughing.
God.
She wants to get coming.
Okay, let's get it together. Okay, mine is George Washington. I just wanted to ask him what it was like to lead for a country that's not really existed yet, and to what go that point of view and stuff like that. And another one is based on my Native American heritage is to sit down with Sitting Bull. based on to see like what it was actually truly like for Native Americans back then. All I know what it was like back then is based on books.
Right.
I don't see it firsthand, so that's another one.
I can tell you how it was kind of like. You know how Christopher Columbus did all the bad stuff? Yeah, they were just doing it to each other.
Yeah, so
Because it's like foreign countries attacking each other. That's exactly
Yeah.
what tribes were attacking each other.
Cluster.
Right, yeah. I mean, that was a little
Yes.
bit different too, but I'm just saying
No,
he's
no,
talking
like-
about what's like being Native American.
no,
back
like
then. I'm
being
like,
a Native American in the early stages of
Oh, like
America.
the
How
frontier and all that
Americans
stuff.
treated Native Americans in the early 1800s and the 1800s.
The white people, not the Americans. At that time, it was.
Yes, and Sitting Bull was one of like the modern day activists for Native Americans. He stood up to the government. So it'd be great to sit down with him and see what you talk to him about this stuff. And another one is you took another good one. Ben Franklin.
No.
Yes, I'm thinking about Kelvin.
Ben Franklin, what?
I like Ben
Just
Franklin.
because he created a lot of like a couple of modern day things. He created the bifocals and stuff like that. So I'm like, how did he come up with this and stuff like that?
You can't really buy focals. We just got to talk about.
He said.
Oh my god!
You
We're
said
way
Benjamin.
off topic, right?
You said Benjamin Franklin. The only thing I can think of is a Stephen Lynch song where he talks about how he was a history teacher and he starts singing to the kids. Then he goes, Benjamin Franklin went out one night, stuck a key to the end of a kite. Electricity struck him twice. He said, "Right down, motherfucker."
Why am I surrounded by two idiots?
Yes, Morons. Yep. I'm just saying.
But you said Benjamin Franklin. That's the first thing I thought was that song. Now he calls the kid motherfuckers. Maybe that's why he's not a teacher no more.
Maybe.
And one of the honest thing is that I learned is that they tried making Benjamin Franklin president of the country, like at the beginning stages. He's like, "No, I'm too damn old."
Yeah.
He was
Yeah.
shocked.
He was being over in France during the revolution.
Ooh.
He was actually in prison in France.
Yeah.
Frigate during the revolution.
See, I didn't read much about that, but I mean, we could have used them, but I mean, it was mainly like with the leadership of the leaders we had with Washington. I mean, Washington was only made leader of the U.S. Army back then because of he was the only one that had experience. He was the only one that had experience.
Sometimes it's all it takes.
Yeah.
He was the only one that served in the previous war that the Americans helped serve with the British that was against the French and up in Canada.
I just want to throw it out here before Carl talks. All right. I know I joked about Helen Keller and
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
would you communicate. I just want to say I know we're all smarter than most people that do podcasts and some stuff they throw out, which one of my favorites is obviously the You Should Know podcast and doesn't know the difference between Anne Frank and Helen Keller. So I'm just glad we know the difference between Anne Frank and Helen Keller. Because I was going to say Helen Keller and I swore someone was going to say, well, how'd they find her in the attic or something?
Wow.
Hey, at least it wasn't as bad as, oh, they found Amelia Earhart. How'd they find her in the closet and about the plane? That was the whole
Yeah.
You Should Know podcast. He got confused with Amelia Earhart and Anne Frank. I've seen Helen Keller and Anne Frank before, but Amelia Earhart and Anne Frank, I've never heard anyone confuse those two.
I mean, there's an interesting theory about Amelia Earhart.
She was Anne Frank.
No.
That's why they couldn't find her.
She was John Cena before John Cena.
No, is that her
Oh.
place went down and she went to an island and she died on the island.
Yeah, that's that. I've heard that theory.
I've heard that. It's a going theory. They also said that they may have found the plane that's like further down than the Titanic.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not really going to try to get to it, especially after what happened with that thing.
That's where the sub was trying to go to. Amelia Earhart's crash, not the Titanic.
Yeah.
All right, Carl,
God, of course,
go on
huh?
with your three.
Can that be my historical
note-
person? What made you think you control this with a video game controller too?
All right, on your that
It's
note,
self-imploded.
Move on.
Are you tired?
Iowa State scored.
Oh, cool.
Tied.
28-28.
So first one you touched on it was JFK. I almost said Jeff. Wow. JFK. Yeah.
I thought you were gonna say John Cena.
John Cena, dude, he's still alive. I can still talk to him. JFK, just because I'd like to just like talk to him about why he got into politics. If you remember, he didn't get into that election until like August of that year. Kind of like, I mean, we don't like Kamala, but she got in late because of Joe Biden dropping out. So I just want to know what.
But she grew up in a middle class family.
He also, like you said,
She makes good collard greens.
He had interesting. He had a lot to do. He had like the highest. Not a political podcast, but we're talking about.
We're talking about good collard greens here.
Not collard greens. But didn't he have like the highest approval rating of any president? He had like an 85 or something presidential. Like everybody loved him,
Right?
Because he was for the people. He didn't care about the blue and red or any Republican Democrat. He was for the people, no matter what.
Exactly.
I mean, the biggest thing, turning point in that election was the debate, how clean he was looking, and then Nixon.
That depends on who you talk to. People that watched it said JFK won. The people that listened to it said Nixon won.
Yep. There's a difference.
There's a difference, but
not
I
a
mean,
crook.
to me, JFK won.
I don't mind Nixon. I didn't mind him. I mean, since Watergate.
I mean, if you
there's
say
been
you're
worse
not a
things.
crook, you must not be a crook.
That's when
Because that's what all non-crooks say. I'm not a crook.
Which leads to my second one, Richard Nixon. Why did you do what you did?
Were
Like,
you
what-
really a crook?
really a crook?
What really happened with Watergate?
And I would tell him, you're what you did and what people have done since then. You don't look that bad. You look pretty good now.
The Monica Lewinsky incident?
I was dating this next
Oh, 27,
no.
28.
So my
They must have got Green Bay's kicker.
back to he got traded from Illinois to USC Iowa State today. Oh, I must have laughing gas in here or something. I don't know what the heck. I've been laughing at everything today.
State, by the way.
Sir.
Jenny says she's related to Amelia Earhart.
Well, hold on. How?
How?
She didn't specify that. She said, I'm
How do you say that and not specify?
Well, okay, Amelia Earhart could be like her great aunt. She never had kids, but maybe her brother did.
Maybe I don't
Or
know.
sister.
Yeah, it was never known to make her kids.
I also didn't look to see if Amelia Earhart had brothers or sisters either. So
No. And
cousins,
I think
3 times removed.
I think that would be my third one. Was her?
Amelia,
Yeah.
where did you go?
Like what happened?
What
Like
happened?
you
Why
know what
did
I mean?
you fly that plane?
Because
Why did you get locked in that
Because
closet?
if we're bringing them back, we're asking them what led.
Yeah,
to
because
them
I think
passing
it'd be
away.
more. I think it'd be better to like bring them back and ask these questions, not go back in time and talk to them.
yeah, this is
That's what I would do. Like, what happened? What did you have? Like a
And that's why I
catastrophic
can
failure?
understand German.
Yeah.
Because I brought him back and he's translating in English. 9.
There's just a
Also,
filter right
there's a
there, right?
magical translation.
What are these?
device.
What are you got subtitles? I speak good English. I'm from the University of Cairo.
But like, it's just like you don't know what transpired. Did she have problems? Obviously, had problems with the plane because she crashed or whatnot. What happened? Like, did you die
Was
on
it on
impact?
purpose?
Was it on purpose? Was something happening? Like she was setting all these records as a woman. You know, maybe somebody was like, "Oh no, we're not gonna have a woman do this. We want a male to do it." I don't know. You don't know what people were thinking back there.
Another good. Back it off that, and I just thought about this now.
Mhm.
Also brings me out to the song, the Wright brothers.
Yeah.
Who said, "Let's fly"?
I don't know.
What made you one day go, "I want to fly"?
Orville and Wilbur.
Good popcorn.
Jenny says to her great grandma
Okay.
Okay.
I'm not trying to knock it. I just want to
No,
know how.
right.
it brings up question.
Yeah, it does.
That's those are good. Those are
What's
all
her
good his-
theory on how her relative? What's her theory on how her relative passed away?
Oh, that's-
Everybody's got a different one.
Really?
Yeah.
I think they made a mistake and their instruments were bad
Right.
and they ended up in drink.
Yeah. Yeah. Probably.
Some people say, "Oh, they hit
I
the
said Loch
Bermuda
Ness Monster.
Triangle."
Right. What?
Loch Ness monster.
Logical. Yeah.
Wrong side of the world.
Yeah.
From the Pacific. They were looking for Hawaii.
There's a different Bermuda Triangle. Okay, it's the Hawaii Triangle.
Even though it's just.
All over the place, man.
If you really look for them,
There's
Hey, I'm telling you, there's one off the coast of Africa. There's one over in Japan. There's one in the Great Lakes, for Christ's sake. There's
Oh no, that
I
looks
mean,
like
can
something
you
else.
guys name the last? I know this. Can you guys name the last modern day war chief? Native American war chief?
yeah.
It's not Crazy Horse, is it?
No, it's actually happened. I think, believe during World War II.
Hey,
Joe
yeah,
Medicine
hey.
Crow.
Oh, I thought it was Captain. Hey, yeah, hey, yeah.
That's a little.
I think they only do that when they have a rain dance, right? Or they're praying for. I don't know. I'm just. I could have said something Mexican, but I don't. They're already here, so. Sorry.
I can say stuff about white people, but I mean, hey, we all know. But anyway, it's a good podcast. It's
Yes.
great to have Carl back.
Yeah.
More laughs were definitely had this week. But I think that was honestly the best cold take we've had.
Yeah, I
just wanna
like
throw
it.
that out there.
I like it. I like it.
Today we went a little bit longer than usual. A
We had a
lot
lot.
bit longer than usual, but we had a little bit more to talk about and everything. And with Carl being back, 2 minutes of a theme song as well, and that cold take took a little bit longer because we had to think a lot more. So next week is actually the episode before Halloween.
Yep.
So we will say happy Halloween then and everything like that.
Can we dress up as costumes?
Hey, if we do, I'm gonna be Joe Hendry as he will have a title shot against Nick Namath, Dolph Ziggler in TNA. So
Yeah.
there's that.
I'm gonna go as a pointy-headed white ghost.
Pointy-headed white ghost.
Yeah, don't do that.
That looks like a unicorn wearing a sheet. Like
Yeah, or KK and another one.
My
we're
pointy-headed
just
ghost
offending
costume.
everybody these last few minutes, aren't we? Got the Germans, the Mexicans,
Helen Keller,
Helen Keller.
because you can't communicate.
You can't see me.
She can't see you.
Bifocals.
All right.
Are we done? Oh,
Okay.
I thought you were like this. So anyway, yeah,
I think he
like
cooked
and
us all.
subscribe to our podcast. Watch the other episodes. We are trying to get them. I just want to put this out there because people have asked me. We are trying to get it out there on Spotify and iTunes or
Apple Store, whatever.
wherever you can get your podcast. I think we were thinking iHeart and Spotify, so that way you could listen to us and don't have to look at our ugly faces, look like dogs.
Face for radio, voice for TV.
Exactly.
I
So
will
we're
work on that this
definitely
weekend.
working on that. It's a little bit harder than our tech guy thought, but we will try to get them up. When we get it up, it will be all of them at once. So go back and listen to it as well. But
Get it up all at once.
Get up once
I'll
and
try to
once
upload one.
well, yeah, he's gonna
couple
upload
within
one at a time.
Couple of hours.
But take that blue pill. If you're uploading more than 4 hours, go to the hospital. So yeah, we're gonna look to try to get that on there. But right now, YouTube Live is where we go. Like us on Facebook, 3 Morons Pod. I try to check that regularly every day, at least once, just to see if we got any friends requests. Go check out B&L Creative Designs on Facebook, B&L Creative Designs on Facebook, or BL Creative Design Shop on Etsy. Other than that, you guys have a wonderful weekend. Enjoy church, football tomorrow, whatever you have left for the rest of the weekend, and have a good night.
Bye.
Do 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 do.